Ben Simmons, the kid at LSU. Did you see the numbers he put up last night? He's the best passer in the country.
The best all-around prospect since LeBron.
He'll be the clear-cut #1 pick. People will be tanking like crazy.
It's ridiculous how good he is, and he's only going to get better.
The kid's just shut down.
His work ethic is maybe questionable.
It's dirty business.
He's going to be out a while.
I'm not scared to take the free throw.
I'm picking on Big Ben today.
I was thinking too much, overthinking the plays.
Woo-hoo! This is going to be fun. A Rise and Fall documentary about Ben Simmons. Now first, let's make a deal. If you like this video, promise me that you'll subscribe to this channel. Right? You promise? If you don't, by the way, you will inherit Ben Simmons' jumper, and I'm pretty sure you don't want that. The story of Ben Simmons is an interesting one if you're into those, rise and falls type stories. Ben Simmons' career, the fall off, let us begin.
I don't believe in love.
One thing I decided to do into this video was to go through, the archives. And in 2014, there was a question that I wanted to know the answer to.
Here's a ranking of the top 5 worst #1 overall NBA draft picks in basketball history.
Call me petty, but 10 years from that point, this guy might end up on the list in the future. Let's be honest with ourselves.
In 2001, Michael Jordan and the Washington Wizards made Kwame Brown the first ever high school player selected #1 overall in an NBA draft.
Who even let this man cook? Now, that's not the question, right? We need to get back to Ben Simmons. Okay, in high school, he was touted as the best player. Here on this Bleacher Report article, you can see here, saying the best player I saw last week was Ben Simmons.
The Philadelphia 76ers select Joel Embiid from Yaoundé, Cameroon.
Now, the reason why this player, Joel Embiid, is relevant in this story, you'll see later, but Bill Simmons, he said this in an article in Grantland in 2014. He talked about how, quote, Anthony Davis is our only superstar in waiting right now. Well, unless you feel like bending the rules and counting Joel Embiid if he stays healthy, or my illegitimate Australian son, Ben Simmons. Interesting that he said this, by the way, in 2014.
There's a pretty clear leader for the top overall spot in the 2015 recruiting class, and it's Australian Ben Simmons.
And of course, Ben Simmons in high school, he won multiple titles and was a phenom.
Montverde is routinely one of the nation's best programs, and last year Simmons helped lead the team to a national championship in New York City.
You finished your high school career with your 3rd championship. How do you describe this moment?
I don't even know what to say. It's my 3rd year at Montverde, so I'm just blessed.
Success followed wherever Ben Simmons went. And at this point, Ben Simmons would be wise to go to, a highly prestige program like Kentucky, Duke. You can name all the high prestige universities when it comes to basketball. And, Devin Booker went to Kentucky. Jahlil Okafor went to Duke. Ben Simmons should go to one of those schools. He'll follow success where it's at. And obviously success is going to follow him. Where is he going to go, right? LSU. He decides to do his own thing and go to a school that is not really that well known for basketball, more so for football.
The top teams, North Carolina, Duke, Kentucky, all those names always popped up. It wasn't the name of the school that stood out to me. It was the character around the people.
Oh, the character, eh? Interesting. Now, Ben Simmons, the reason why he wanted to go to LSU. Let's get into that, okay? Because he says here that he always felt like it was another home for him, right? And when asked why not play pro in Australia instead, he said, I'm not doing that. I'm going to LSU. He also said that's where he felt most comfortable. Interesting.
A big reason I came to LSU was because of Dave Patrick, my godfather.
Oh, now it gets even more interesting. Yes, David Patrick named LSU basketball assistant coach in 2012. Ben Simmons' father, Dave Simmons, when he played in Australia, one of his teammates was David Patrick, and now Ben Simmons' godfather.
When David was playing basketball in Australia, DP was a young 16-year-old who used to go to the practices.
When David played, I was fortunate the last 2 years of his career to play with him. And I grew up playing with him. Ben's from a very tight-knit family.
And of course, David Patrick, he would go to the Simmons homes and, he would get along with the family just fine.
Ben's dad, Dave Simmons, played collegiately at Oklahoma City University before playing professionally for 15 years in Australia. After growing up down under, Ben moved to Florida during his sophomore year to get used to basketball in the United States.
At this point, Ben Simmons, now named McDonald All-American. He would play in the American games. Then nobody cares. Nobody actually cares about his high school career, okay? He was a great player. He was a phenom. He was ranked #1 at high school, right? He was all the rage at this point in the United States. A lot of people saw his mixtapes, right? LeBron James. To get an idea of how hyped up Ben Simmons was, right? As a high school student, right? Ben Simmons, his high school coach said this: he is as close to the overall dominance since LeBron. Okay, he also said Ben has a lot of power, but he is more fluid in his actions, not as powerful as LeBron. Be prepared to get used to hearing these comparisons. Oh boy, oh boy. Ooh, now you got clips of Ben Simmons getting his ankles broken. I mean, this is hilarious. Although his teammate did break the other guy's ankles later on with a assist to Ben Simmons off a dunk. I mean, look, at this point, Ben Simmons, he was getting acclimated to the LSU lifestyle in college. He was the man on campus. Obviously, there was a glaring flaw here. You could tell he just cannot shoot a jumper for his life at this point. And Ben Simmons, of course, the question was, which NBA team would he end up the following year in 2016?
He posted a Snapchat and he said, "You can catch me on the Lakers next year."
Whoa, he said that already? Is he trying to get in trouble here? Now, the hype was real with Ben Simmons, apparently.
I think he's going to be an impact player for LSU right away.
I'm going with Ben Simmons, the #1 recruit, is going to be National Player of the Year.
And I just want to remind you folks why Ben Simmons wanted to go to a lesser-known basketball school like LSU.
Well, first of all, my godfather, Dave Patrick, he's the assistant coach, and that was one of the biggest reasons for me, just because, you know, he's family to me, and it feels like a homey vibe for me.
Okay, enough with the chit-chat, okay? He's introduced, he's in college now, right? He is going to probably make headlines because he's just that damn good of a player, isn't he?
Ben Simmons preparing for his first game at the college level.
And the first thing that is apparent right away is Ben Simmons' incredible vision within the first 5 minutes in the game. Oh my goodness. And then Ben Simmons obviously dunking.
Pretty impressive in his debut. 11 points, 13 rebounds, double-double, also dished out 5 assists.
He was already getting attention from the national media. You know, he was living up to the hype.
Preseason hype for LSU star freshman is huge, Danny, but he seems, at least so far, to be living up to it.
So far, 2-0 in his collegiate career, in his third collegiate game. Again, Ben Simmons looking good. And I mean, he really looks good. I mean, this guy could come into the NBA right away, right? This guy is just a phenom. Look at his stat line.
Ben Simmons had 23 and 16 last night. 23 and 16. And the Tigers beat South Alabama. The native Australian, I didn't know that about the kid till recently, is now shooting 63% from the field over his first 3 games. Seems to be just as comfortable, if not more so, passing the rock. Jay Billis called him the best all-around prospect since LeBron. I bet that makes you happy.
And now you got people at ESPN saying the same thing. Oh, this is insane.
The last time I remember somebody giving you that feeling on the floor was when LeBron was in his senior year of high school. There was just something different about him, and you knew right away, like, this guy is the real thing. Now, Simmons is not LeBron, obviously, but I think he's the best player in the country. He may not be player of the year at the end of it, but he's the best player.
Now, of course, at least he said that he's not LeBron. He's not exactly the phenom that LeBron was. He was an insane freak. He had 52 points in this game.
The ball, a career-high 52 points, 21 of 34, 6 threes, and LeBron finally taken out, gets a hug from Longoria.
Can we please get some more sane, some more reasonable comparisons?
I mean, he's really good, Mike, really versatile. We were talking before the show. He reminds you of Lamar Odom. He said after the game that the game's easier for him, that there's more space for him in college than there was in high school. You watch him, and he looks really smooth.
There seems to be just sort of an intelligence, an awareness, and a savvy. And it's just a few games.
Apparently, he's just getting straight A's in college, right? That's the way they're talking about Ben Simmons. He's just a smart kid, and he knows what he's doing out there.
But it seems like college basketball, Danny, I think you'll agree with this, really is the sport that reveals very early on, a certain coming out, if you will, of who's going to be a great player. And we tend to see it, and it's often true. It often holds.
Now, one thing was for sure with Ben Simmons, right? At this point in his career, you could see him becoming a star.
If you gave me the option of everyone that is available under the age of 23, not counting Anthony Davis, I would take Ben Simmons. I would take the kid at LSU. This kid is better than advertised. This kid is going to be the next LeBron. Did you see the numbers he put up last night?
Oh boy, here it goes again. LeBron. Look, Ben Simmons is a great player at this point, right? Collegiately, right? He is the best player. I get it.
He'll be the clear-cut number one pick. People will be tanking like crazy for this guy. They built an advertising campaign around him at LSU they had to stop doing. This kid is the real deal. I believe Ben Simmons is going to be the next NBA superstar, and I would take him ahead of any of the other people that you've named.
You know who you sound like?
Who?
The people who said when Jadeveon Clowney was in college, he was better than most D linemen in the NFL.
I'm the one who told you that I wouldn't take I wouldn't go near Jadeveon Clowney
I'm just
with
saying,
the first
that's
pick.
what you sound like now.
You know what? I'm just gonna let things go. I'm not gonna talk too much about Ben Simmons. Why is he being compared to LeBron? I'm just gonna let them say what they have to say.
4 double-doubles in 5 games. What do you make of the way he's playing to start the year?
You know, Jay, he's the real deal. I had a chance to watch him in person at the Nike Basketball Academy this last summer for 3-4 days, and he was the best player on the floor, and they had all the all-star college players there. And he's the best player in college basketball. He does the most things. He's different. He's just a special player.
All right, let's just transition a little into this beef that happened. All right, Shaquille O'Neal, an LSU legend, responded to a hate comment left on Ben Simmons' page saying you can't shoot and your mom doesn't love you. Shaq said to him, and me and Ben know your mom very well, but we don't know which one of us is the father. Okay, that's spicy. That is mighty spicy. And he didn't choke. He had 43 points in that game, 15 of 20 field goal.
Daniels, a 6'8 senior from Ashburn, Georgia, who's averaging 11 points off the bench.
I mean, just look at this pass. Ben Simmons, man, you are insane. And yeah, he was wheeling and dealing out there, also getting points himself. Like I said, 43 points.
At the break, second half, all Tigers. Simmons off glass. Simmons hangs, goes glass, no problem. For Simmons. Alley-oop, no, yeah.
And I'm underselling the stat line that he had that night. I mean, look, he had 43 points, yes. But he also had rebounds, a lot of assists.
Look at those numbers. Just ridiculous. Ridiculous. This could be the 25th point in the second half alone.
It doesn't show on the graph, right? But he had 5 steals in this game as well. This is ridiculous. Ben Simmons, man, what a game. And I mean, really, what a game. You, sir, have put yourself on the map. You, sir, at this point, bro. Whoo!
Best shot to hit the lottery. And they get this Ben Simmons kid out of LSU.
Have you seen this kid?
I have. Twice. I've watched him, and I'm like,
the brother's
wow.
pure. Oh, God. I hope everybody in America knows. Put that camera on me, please. Put that camera on me. There's nothing to talk about who the number 1 overall pick in the draft is going to be. There's nothing to talk about.
Oh, yeah, he's legit at this point. He is solidified.
This kid, Ben Simmons, out of LSU.
He's got it all.
Oh, he is so special. He is so special.
He can flat out pass the basketball.
And handle. Beautiful. And handle. Yeah. And play with his back to the basket. And facing the basket. Yeah. And play down low.
And you know what, man? LeBron James, it seemed like he doesn't mind the comparisons at all. He says here, someone's going to be compared to someone all the time. And I don't mind him being compared to me. And apparently LeBron, he's watched Ben Simmons before he even went to LSU. He says here, I've been on him probably 3 or 4 years now, and he's an unbelievable talent. LeBron James, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest liar in the NBA. Yeah, that should be a video of its own. Now, look, we got to talk about this because Andrew Bogut, a Warrior, a fellow Australian as well. Yeah, he's going to talk about Ben Simmons.
He'll probably be one of the best Australian players ever, if not the best Australian player ever. He's got all the tools to be a very good player. Got a couple of his games, he's doing a great job. I hope he goes number 1.
And another NBA player that's an Australian, Patty Mills, I mean, he also endorsed Ben Simmons. He says he likes him a lot.
Have you seen any of his games so far with LSU?
Yeah, and look, I agree with Bogue. You know, he's such a talent that I don't think we've ever seen before. And to be able to do it already at a college level is just outstanding.
After starting the season 3-0, of course you'd think LSU is a great team now. Ben Simmons is the best player out of high school, so it would make sense with other recruits that are top 100 recruits. I mean, this is going to be a great team. Johnny Jones, he's a coach of the LSU Tigers, and of course, somehow they're not as good. Why is that? Why are they bad? And that's the question that a lot of people have been asking at this point in the season. And I can tell you one reason already. I mean, look at Ben Simmons' shot chart. Yeah, he is not a spacer. I mean, just look at how much space they leave him open from the free-point line. Yeah, this is hilarious. And Ben Simmons, he's going to have to work on that part of his game.
Win should they hang on and defeat the Commodores. Simmons inside, Victor with the exclamation point.
Well, I guess not. Ben Simmons doesn't have to work on his shooting because he's already doing everything else well. I mean, look at him dunking here and just running the floor. He's just an amazing player, an athlete of sorts. He has the most games with 35 and 10 since Kevin Durant. And yeah, you would hope that he shoots more mid-range and three-pointers, but you know, it is what it is. Now we get to the next opponent that Ben Simmons plays, and yeah, this has to do with Drizzy Drake here.
Remember the high of last year of Kentucky, and that's finishing in the national championship game, not winning it. But the lows were low. I mean, the lows were low during the regular season, and I think that battle tested this group.
Bro, who does he think he is for real? I mean, this guy really thought he was part of the team. And I mean, of course, the year before that, he wasn't sitting inside the locker room with Devin Booker and sorts, Trey Lyles. I mean, that's where the meme came from. Yeah, who invited this man?
In a second, earlier in the season, I had a football game here on a Saturday. I came in here to watch Ben Simmons play on a Friday night. If you haven't seen him yet, one of the most highly talented freshmen we've heard about in a long time.
Forget the shooting. I mean, just look at his stats. He's leading the league in points per game, rebounds per game, second in assists per game. Steals per game, he's tied 6th. Yeah, he's a phenom.
10 on the shot clock. Simmons in low. In, up, and around, and in again. Princess Bride. A few days ago. And so's the crowd.
And of course, Ben Simmons, yeah, the throwdown to finish off the game. Beautiful game from Ben Simmons and LSU. He even trolled Drake at the end of it, which was funny in an Instagram caption. He said here, I rock LSU gold on these harlots, and of course, referencing one of Drake's music.
And I rock Kentucky blue on these hoes.
Ha ha ha, he used a lyric of Drake's song and said LSU instead of Kentucky. Yeah, this is just a funny troll. Nothing much to see here, honestly.
Just hours before tip-off, Lakers legend Magic Johnson said Australia's Ben Simmons was the best all-round player he'd seen since LeBron James.
Are you serious right now? Magic Johnson saying here, Ben Simmons is the best all-around player I've seen since LeBron.
Those who only look at the box score will see 14 points, 5 field goal attempts from you. What do you believe your role on this team is?
I think just being a leader and being somebody everyone can look at and get momentum up and get energy up. And I think I've been doing pretty well with that.
Now, you had other people tempering their expectations when it came to Ben Simmons.
Lamar Odom was pretty good himself. He was a guy that could get you 17, 8, and 8. He was a guy that could be a key component on a championship team, if not necessarily an MVP himself. So, Lamar Odom should be kind of the standard for guys that are good, even if they don't meet the lofty expectations placed on. So even if Ben Simmons is just Lamar Odom and not LeBron James, that would be pretty.
But of course, for Ben Simmons to meet a lot of these expectations, he's going to have to shoot that jumper more. And of course, you would see him try to shoot that jumper. He would actually make a nice little jumper there. And, his on practice, he can actually shoot. Like, you can see him drilling like 3 straight threes right there. And wait, can he make a 4th? Oh, wow. Yeah, but Ben Simmons, he still has ways to go.
Where Arkansas was or what they were doing, but their closest guy to him was standing halfway down the paint.
Ben Simmons short on the free throws, his second air ball tonight.
And I'll tell you what, man, Ben Simmons, he even has the endorsement of the president.
I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to call him out, but if you're Ben Simmons, maybe you'll do fine not hitting the books. But although he's a very fine student, I'm sure.
And it's interesting that Obama said this, because we'll get into that later, okay? Well, Ben Simmons, he's still dominating the league in college, and it's really interesting to watch because Ben Simmons, a lot of people have talked about his jump shot, right? Is he shooting it with the right hand? And I'm not saying he's shooting it with the right. You can clearly see him shoot it with the left hand, but people are saying that's the wrong hand to shoot it with, right? A lot of people have looked at his non-jumpers, and he uses his right like 80% of the time. But why? Why does he use his right hand on jumpers? Going to his left, he uses his right hand. I mean, that's how much he uses his right hand on non-jumpers. I mean, this is weird. But when he shoots it, he doesn't use his right at all. He shoots it with his left hand. And many people say his mechanics are off because he's shooting with the wrong hand. After losing to Alabama, it's nice seeing Ben Simmons stick around working on his jumper.
Look at how high Armani Moore got up there. I mean,
yeah, Ben Simmons had the highlights in this game, but yeah, they were getting blown out by Tennessee. Interesting, because Ben Simmons in this same game did not even start the game. Yes, Coach Johnny Jones of LSU said that Simmons didn't start because, quote, we had to address some academic stuff with him earlier in the week, unquote.
Driver. Stolen away by Thompson. Now, Ben Simmons, 8 turnovers in their last outing at Tennessee, so he makes great passes, just got to value the ball a little more.
Ben Simmons was getting bullied in the post. He was getting manhandled, and of course, they were getting their shots up, and Arkansas, man, a unranked school, just blowing out LSU.
Knocking that ball out of his hands. Simmons leads all scorers with 17. Hannes, his second triple of the night. What a terrific shooter this young guy is. Now he's talking trash to Ben Simmons at the free throw line. Wow, is that a muscle move in the post by Trey Thompson? Well, as good as he's been on the offensive end, Ben Simmons, you can't red carpet the guy. I mean, you only have one foul. Pretty darn good. Yeah, well, this is the Razorback faithful's only chance to see Ben Simmons, but you know.
Ben Simmons, he even had a tech at the end of the game. That's how frustrated he was, and you understand it, bro. It's a bad loss.
Well, the technical, according to Pat Adams, was on Ben Simmons. I think the young guy's frustrated right now.
It's just a terrible loss, and I think LSU and Ben Simmons, they ought to be disappointed. They ought to be ashamed, because this is one of those games you're supposed to win. You're supposed to beat an unranked school like Arkansas. And, of course, ESPN Sports Center, I mean, they said here, Ben Simmons posted his 4th Troney 10-5 game. Nobody cares, bro. But apparently, they asked the question, the last major conference player to do it, guess who was there? Draymond Green? Man, oh.
Well, it was bleak entering this game in terms of their tournament projections. A loss like this, and this might be the final nail in the coffin.
And some people were beginning to push back on the notion that Ben Simmons was the surefire #1 pick in the draft.
He's the #1 guy. His usage rate is probably 50%, okay? And that's why he's putting up all these great stats. If he is so great, how come he can't even take this team to be a 16 seed in the tournament?
First of all, he has 0 bust potential. Ben Simmons, 0 bust potential. There is 0 chance he'll be a bust.
And of course, you have Colin Cowherd defending Ben Simmons here.
These people saying, well, he can't make the tournament. They're not particularly well coached, and it's a non-traditional power with garbage players around him. And according to different reports, the players around him resent him. Some of the upperclassmen at LSU resent Ben Simmons being given the title of superstar LSU basketball.
You talk about them not being well coached. Ben Simmons decided to go to LSU.
Athletic, has great handles, can defend, and once he develops a shot, and he will, Michael Jordan couldn't shoot when he broke into NBA basketball. Once he develops a jumper, like Andrew Wiggins, same thing, he's going to be an all-star.
I mean, he did have that one game where he shot 80% from the line. I mean, that was nice. But, the College Player of the Year award, the Wooden Award, yeah, that award given to prestigious players. Well, Ben Simmons might not be eligible for the award because of his bad grades.
It's a great award to win, but, it's not my goal. It's not my goal to come out here and win, the Wooden Award, the, SEC Player of the Year awards. I didn't come here for that. I came here to, try and be the best teammate and player on the team I can be and trying to help my team win.
And some recent winners, including, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, they won this award. You have Blake Griffin and J.J. Redick. Wait. Tyler Hansbrough. Okay, what are we doing here? Jeremy Fredette! Are you serious right now? Okay, I don't care too much about this award, but, Ben Simmons against Texas A&M.
A&M would outscore LSU 32-5 over the 15 minutes leading into the break.
With their season on the line, and this is how LSU plays, they simply got outclassed, quite frankly.
A Kyle Dobbins free throw with 3 minutes left put the Aggies up by 40. A&M ends LSU's season. 71-38 was the final.
LSU made history when they put up 38 in that game, bro. Oh my gosh.
Texas A&M limited the Tigers to just 38 points, the fewest scored by a team from the ACC, Big 12, Big East, Big 10, Pac-12, or SEC this season.
But here comes SportsCenter trying to prop up Ben Simmons. Despite trailing 65-28, he had his 23rd double-double of the season, 5th most in the nation. I don't care. You got to win, bro. And now your season is over before the NCAA tournament happens. This is embarrassing. And, of course, Ben Simmons, he would get picked up by a high-profile agency.
Clutch Sports Agency, which was founded by James, has landed a big-time client in LSU star forward Ben Simmons.
Here are Ben Simmons' stats to end the season, and you can see they're pretty impressive.
What do we say about Ben Simmons after and what now is the entirety of his college career?
Well, I thought LSU quit playing before the Texas A&M game, personally, in the SEC tournament.
And this guy here, he nails it on the dot.
When you have a guy who's perceived to be the #1 overall pick in the draft, you got to win more than they did. And there's no way to paint it other than it was a terrible disappointment in the way they played, and candidly, I thought in the SEC tournament, the way they competed.
There's something to be said about the way you compete during big games, during, big moments. And obviously, you have Ben Simmons, not really wanting to compete towards the end of the game because they're losing by 40.
When I think about Ben Simmons, I think about LeBron James in terms of the makeup, doing the right things, as opposed to being the man.
Whatever, it is what it is. He quit on his team, he lost by 40, whatever. But he's still the best player.
In the case of being at LSU, first of all, I wonder why the hell he went to LSU. Why that school? And I am taking
Johnny one of the assistants is his godfather.
Well, let me just say this to you. Johnny Jones, I'm quite sure that the man has done a respectable job at LSU. I'm certainly not advocating him being fired or anything like that. But I think that he did a poor job this year with Ben Simmons. I'm just going to call it like it is. I think if Ben Simmons was playing for a different coach, I think we would have seen an elevated level of play.
Even when you try to blame the coach, it always goes back to Ben Simmons. Because why did he want to go there in the first place? He wanted to go there because he was comfortable there.
Without question, he's my #1 overall pick because I look at his ability to pass. I look at his shooting 56% from the field. I look at the fact that he had dudes around him that virtually couldn't play that well and still shot 56% from the field. Still averaged 19, 12, and 5. Still led them to 19 victories as a freshman. I'm thinking about all the components that he has available to him. And if the only thing that I need to be concerned about is his motor, his go-get-it mentality.
Well, Stephen A. Smith, there are some people, draft experts like Jonathan Givony, that say otherwise, that don't think that Ben Simmons should be a #1 pick.
Well, a lot of NBA teams have reached out this morning and yesterday after it came out, and they said, finally someone is kind of saying it as it is. They feel like Simmons has been done a tremendous disservice by people in the media who have been kind of unfairly comparing him to the likes of LeBron James and Magic Johnson. And I think we found out this season that's just not who he is. He is not that transcendent talent that he's been billed as.
LSU started the season 15-8, ended the season 5-6, and Ben Simmons regressed towards the end of the season. You could see it from a box score.
And we saw, the second half of the year, the kid just shut down. He just stopped functioning. He stopped competing. And those are major red flags. That's not, what Magic Johnson did, and it certainly is not what LeBron James would have done. So I think that's where we're at right now.
If you had the first pick in the draft today, and you had to consider not just now, but what they could be, who would you think you would pick?
I would go with Brandon Ingram because, like you said, there's the youth that you have to look at. Ben Simmons is 14 months older than Brandon Ingram. So I think you have to think about where is Brandon Ingram going to be 14 months from now if we froze the clock right now and Ben Simmons didn't move. I think Brandon Ingram is a significantly better shooter. He's a much more of a competitor, phenomenal will to win, and he's a great teammate, and all those. And the shooting component, you just can't discount that in today's NBA.
And you have to work around Ben Simmons' biggest flaw when you're an NBA GM. That's hard enough having to do that.
Simmons, if you have to surround him with 4 great shooters at all times, and you have to kind of run the game through him as a point guard, which I think that's going to be his biggest strength. I don't know if every NBA team can do that. I don't know if the Philadelphia 76ers, if the LA Lakers, I don't know if they can just trade their entire roster away and start anew if they get a guy like Simmons.
And of course, Jonathan Givony, draft expert again, he was invited to Colin Cowherd's show to talk about this. And Colin, he had some pushback.
Okay. So he shut down. Isn't that funny? Isn't that one of the big complaints about LeBron against the Boston Celtics in that Delonte West situation? LeBron's done okay. LeBron has twice in his career been criticized for, quote, shutting down. Well, LeBron's always been passive. Interesting. Kobe Bryant against the Phoenix Suns in the playoffs. Remember that half he took one shot? Kobe never takes just one shot.
Just because dimwits like you told him to pass the ball when he had bums playing for him. And come on, this is ridiculous, man.
The question isn't, is he the next LeBron? The question is, of the allotted players in the draft, who has the least potential to bust? Ben Simmons. And who has the highest ceiling? Ben Simmons.
Yeah, but with the motor that Ben Simmons currently has, what makes you think he'll reach that ceiling? No, look, Giannis Antetokounmpo, a player that has a high motor. He is actually starting to make noise at this point in his career, 2016. And of course, articles were written about how Giannis Antetokounmpo is the blueprint and Ben Simmons is the future. Really? That's the future?
As you said, Simmons did not have that good of a year at LSU. Ingram has a chance to really cement his stock here. Who do you think will ultimately be the number one pick in the draft?
It's ironic that I just talked about Brandon Ingram because I still think that Ben Simmons is going to be the number one pick in the draft.
Okay.
I think that he has a lot going for him. Again, LSU was bad, but Ben Simmons personally wasn't bad. The only things that are knocks on him are what we already knew, that his work ethic is maybe questionable and that his jump shot is non-existent. And so Brandon Ingram has an advantage over him in that. But Ben Simmons is more ready to play right now, and so if it's a team that needs a player who can get into the starting five as a rookie, I think you look at Ben Simmons.
And now we go to the draft lottery of 2016. Of course, the highest odds with the number one pick is the Sixers. And of course, Ben Simmons ending up with the Sixers would be interesting, but you also have the Lakers, a team that Ben Simmons wants to be on, and Boston Celtics get the third pick. Who is going to get the first pick between the Sixers and the Lakers? Oh, this is going to be fun.
The second pick will be made by the Los Angeles Lakers, and that means that the number one pick in the 2016 NBA draft goes to the Philadelphia 76ers.
Okay, so Ben Simmons is a Sixer, right? That's the team he's going to. Well, we'll see, because Ben Simmons ended up skipping the initial workout for the Sixers. What?
All a red flag, or is it affecting?
No, it's not a red flag. You know, everybody deals with the draft process differently. You know, sometimes agents are involved, sometimes families are involved in those decisions. Again, you know, everything that we get with respect to, you know, our intel as it relates to Ben is, you know, he would very much like to be selected number one. And I think we heard the same thing from Brandon today, and, you know, it'll just be all part of the process.
And Colangelo followed up by saying his agent had decided that this is the process they're undertaking. Why don't you call Ben Simmons' agent, Rich Paul, and ask him? It has nothing to do with us. It has nothing to do with Philadelphia.
Brian Colangelo's being a crybaby right now.
Whoa, it's unbelievable. And Max Kellerman, he just doesn't buy that Colangelo should be acting this way.
Now Ben Simmons, it's his prerogative if he doesn't want to work out for the team, says, no, you can draft me first. Or, by the way, don't draft me first. I'll go to the Lakers. And Colangelo starts to cry about that. He has no right to make him work out. Stop crying about it.
Well, but is it okay to, I mean, you're allowed to take it personally if someone doesn't want to accept your offer, right?
Well, you are, but he's not being a crybaby.
Honestly, from this standpoint, I get where Colangelo's coming from, and Ben Simmons as well, honestly.
When you're the number one overall projected draft pick, what is your upside of working out? Tell me, please, what's upside? What's better than number one overall? There is no upside.
There's only downside.
And most people have Ben Simmons locked up in the number one pick, so why should he even waste his time?
All signs point to Philly going number one with Ben Simmons over Brandon Ingram. Will that change in the next 48 hours?
Are you getting nervous here that your Sixers are going to screw this thing up?
Not at all. I think they know who they want.
Listen, remember, Sam Hinkie is no longer there. You're okay. You've got the Colangelos running the franchise now. They're going to take Ben Simmons. All signs point to that.
And of course, drafting a guy like Ben Simmons is big for this franchise who hadn't made a postseason run since 2012. And of course, you're still going to question his shooting mechanics. You just hope that he improves on that.
This is a kid that they feel like his shot, which is his weakness, can improve in the NBA. That's the one area that NBA people always talk about that can get better as long as he's willing to work at it.
Ben Simmons actually ended up working out for the Sixers the week later, so that's interesting. And he was later seen in a commercial with Cat and D'Lo.
Anything else I should know, D'Angelo?
Got a phone? Trust me.
Great commercial, great comedics, and a beautiful reference to D'Lo's past mistakes. Of course, Allen Iverson, who was the Sixers' #1 pick 20 years before this point, of course, he was interviewed about Ben Simmons and him being the #1 pick, the first one since AI.
What advice would you give a guy like Ben Simmons coming in with those heavy expectations, similar expectations too, and playing in a city like this where you know where they there's ups and there's downs. They love you if you give it your all.
Just understand that. Just understand that it's going to be some ups, it's going to be some downs. But these people will stick with you. As long as you give them everything you have, they're going to stick with you through your ups and your downs. You know what I mean? I'm a perfect example of that. You know what I mean? I failed, got back up, and they always stuck with me. And they'll do that with him.
What's interesting as well is the Sixers have a lot of big men in their roster, and of course Ben Simmons being a player that can't shoot. I don't know about the spacing on this team, but Philly's gonna make it work somehow with the #1 pick, which is going to be Ben Simmons.
With the first pick in the 2016 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Ben Simmons.
The crowd is cheering. The crowd is roaring as Ben Simmons gets selected for the #1 overall pick by the 76ers. Yeah, this is the moment that he's been dreaming of for his whole life. Ben Simmons now signing autographs for the kids.
Did you say a forward with point guard skills? How about this guy? Somebody that we all know very well, and you coach, Jay, Grant Hill.
Interesting comparison. Now, Brett Brown, the coach of the 76ers, also coached Ben Simmons' father in the Melbourne Tigers. A lot of interesting parallels
Now,
here.
you already have a connection because your father played for the head coach of the 76ers, Brett Brown.
Now, with all these big men, I mean, the Sixers are going to have to reshuffle the deck. They're going to have to do something because Ben Simmons as a point guard, oh boy.
Everybody else has got money, but there's a lot of work to happen here. The beauty of it is every decision goes through the filter. How does it complement this new franchise pillar?
And now Ben Simmons, part of the Sixers, Summer League highlights ablaze. I mean, he's just blasting the teams. He's just looking like an NBA-ready player.
And welcome back, Ben Simmons, the mercurial star, the quasar, dropping dimes like a bank teller here tonight.
Ooh, shout out fellow Canadian Mark Jones. He's one of the best to do it out there. Now, we got Ben Simmons training with LeBron D. Wade, but, he doesn't like the question of his potential. He does not care for it.
Potential, yeah. It's one of those words, you go down or up, so there's a lot of potential, but I just got to put in the work and see what happens, honestly. There's a lot of things that people can say, but if I don't put the work in, then it's not going to mean anything.
And it's been looking like he put the work in the Summer League, and of course, he's going to look good in this rookie season.
Oh, that's it.
Hey.
But Ben Simmons did add some weight. He's nearly 250 pounds when he was 217 near the draft.
Ben Simmons, fracture in his right foot.
Sixers announced that today after rolling his ankle in a scrimmage.
Oh, brother. Oh, boy. An injury. How long is he going to be out for?
The short story here is, though, he's going to be out a while. I would say 2 months minimum. The big thing that you're worried about here, Linda, is re-injury. He'll heal from this injury. But we've seen a number of players re-break this metatarsal just this week. Cameron Payne, a young player with the Oklahoma City Thunder, broke the 5th metatarsal for the 2nd time in less than 6 months.
And with a foot injury this early in his career, of course, you have people, pausing for concern. And Rich Paul, Ben Simmons' agent, he wanted him to sit out for the season, right? Ben Simmons to sit out.
If I'm the 76ers, I will be damned if I'm letting an agent tell me how to run the team. Right. I'm not LeBron's agent in the same conference that I'm in. I'm not letting him do it. So I'm going to make sure that Ben Simmons is fully healthy, but that with 2 or 3 months to go in this season, when he is fully healthy, he's on the court.
Ben Simmons tweets out, "I can't listen to this guy." He gets quote tweeted by another guy saying he basically failed every college class and he thinks he's politically savvy. And Ben Simmons talking about the Trump debate. He does not want to listen to Donald Trump talking. And Ben Simmons replied to him saying, "Well, that's what happens when you don't go to any class." Ben Simmons admitting that he skipped class at LSU. Oh man, Ben Simmons is funny. Now, his progress is good.
You said Simmons will be back this season
He will.
because we've heard reports that his agent does not want him to play regardless of when.
No, it's not true. Yeah, he'll be back. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
In an up-and-coming documentary called One and Done featuring Ben Simmons' college career, yeah, he said some things about the NCAA. He said here the NCAA is really effed up, and he continued talking about how he was offered a Bentley, a Rolls Royce, a watch, jewelry, a house, and his discontent for college went deeper. He said here, and I quote, "I don't have a voice. I don't get paid to do it. Don't say I'm an amateur and make me take pictures and sign stuff and go make hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars off of one person." And honestly, I like this quote from Ben Simmons.
The president of the NCAA, Mark Emmert, recently spoke at LSU's inaugural Sports Communications Summit and commented on the one and done rule, but more specifically, Ben Simmons' problems with the rule that the young star made very public in his recent Showtime documentary.
So he addressed the one and done rule, how he laments that it makes a farce of going to school, but he also said, if you want to play in the NBA, you can do that. As though Ben Simmons just, is not being pushed to play in college because everybody's playing college. It's insane. The gaslighting is insane. Now, Ben Simmons, he's practicing. He's starting to look better as the days go by. And of course, you can see him shooting jumpers now. Hey, we need to see that in his rookie year, please. And Ben Simmons, you can see him here doing more intense workouts, more intense drills. It's really coming along great. We're already in January, and Ben Simmons is on the court doing shoot-arounds and stuff. It's looking nice, man. He might come back at some point this season. It really does look like it. Ben Simmons, you could see him here now dunking. Oh, yes. He's going to have a scan and exam on Monday on his injured foot. No date of return yet, and it's looking nice. Look at this. He's going to have... Wait, what? It hasn't fully healed after surgery. What? He's officially ruled out for the season... Oh boy, Ben Simmons once again sidelined with the foot injury, and look, apparently he grew more.
And Brett Brown has said that Ben Simmons is going to be the point guard of this ball club with his size, considering he's 6'10", and I know he's a great passer.
And it seemed like Ben Simmons grew about another 2 inches since
really?
he's been here.
Really?
Yeah, I told him that the other day. I said, Ben, you look like you grew another 2 inches since you've been here. And his arms are long, he's lean.
Wow.
He's in shape. And he's like, when I'm watching him in practice, just have him practice. He's like a baby Magic Johnson.
Well, that's interesting. Finally, the season is going to begin. Simmons' career debut against Washington. And yeah, he looks dazzling as always, man. He looks like he's NBA ready. His father there to watch him. And he had a good game, And it only took 4 games for Ben Simmons to get a triple-double, man.
Simmons drives. Bayless hands it off to Simmons. Nice setup by Bayless. McConnell wide open in the corner, and he triples. Then Simmons lobs to Embiid in a crowd, scores anyway, and draws the foul.
Oh yeah, he's definitely NBA ready. 21, 12, and 10.
Here is his stat line from last night. 21 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists in 34 minutes. 8 of 11 from the field.
Apparently, this is the quickest a player had gone to get a triple-double since a guy named Hambone Williams. What?
What are the expectations that you have this season?
And now Ben Simmons interviewed by Dan Patrick, and apparently he would confirm that he did indeed grow.
Give me your official height and weight, because you look like you're 7 feet tall, Ben.
I say like 6'11", 235.
Okay, but you could be 7 feet tall with your shoes on, right?
Yeah, I'm 7 feet. Yeah, we'll say that.
Wow, 7-foot point guard. Unbelievable.
So no wonder the league is not ready for a guy like Ben Simmons. 7 foot and he's playing point guard. Yeah, this is marvelous. And he is dazzling out there, man. He just looks great for a rookie. Yeah, he is technically a rookie since he didn't play the previous season. And yeah, he gets interviewed by Maverick Carter, LeBron's best buddy, about the LSU.
If I was as talented as you, would I see a point in that 6 or 7 months of being there?
And I think no. I think I would have learned a lot more being around professional athletes. Looking at it now, I don't even really know what I learned financially or just being a person at LSU. I think I've learned a lot more with this whole year being in Philly and being a pro than I did at LSU.
At this point, the documentary already came out. I already told you the quotes, but I just thought it was interesting to hear from his mouth because it does leave you thinking, yeah, he does have a point. I think he does have a point personally, because Ben Simmons, I mean, what was the point of him even going to college?
It was kind of portrayed as like he's going to be the savior of LSU. He's coming. At what point did it start to bother you?
I think when they started asking more of me, more photo shoots and just meeting with them with certain things I had to do during the day. Like I'd have class and then go lift, go practice, and then, oh, Ben, you gotta stay and do media and the photo shoot. So I'd be kind of annoyed, like, what am I getting out of this?
And really, guys like Simmons, they're pressured to go to college for exposure, right? If you go to Europe or Australia, they're not going to be as talked about. And he doesn't make a dime off his name.
When you saw the billboards, how did that make you feel about the business of college sports? Like, what did you feel like the business of this is about?
It's dirty business.
Yeah.
So you just had to, I mean, you had to put up with it. But at the same time, it just taught me a lot. You know, I have an image and people wanted to use that. But now I have the opportunity to control that and what I do and who I work with. So, I mean, it helped me. At the same time, I felt it was really sneaky, kind of.
And hopefully that's the last time I talk about the NCAA, man. I hate them so much. Now, okay, Ben Simmons, he is now looking nice. People are saying he's the next LeBron, next Magic Johnson. Oh boy, this is insane.
Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is a grown-ass man. Mm-hmm. Do you see him? Did you see him standing next to Lonzo Ball? He looked like Lonzo Ball daddy.
Well, did you see him standing next to Joel Embiid? Because they're about the same size. Yeah. I think Ben Simmons is 7 feet tall.
In the game that featured Embiid, you know, talking back to Mitchell after blocking his shot, flopping as well after Mitchell pushes him. Yeah, the Utah Jazz, they couldn't beat the Sixers with Embiid, you know, just talking and being rowdy. This was the first time in a long time that the Sixers won to 9 of the 16 games.
You are surrounded by royalty in the record books, Ben, but do you allow yourself to think ahead on what it would be like to become the first rookie since Blake Griffin to be selected?
I want to win a ring. That's my goal. I want to win more than one.
And Ben Simmons was getting all the love, even from the Sixers' biggest fans.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Big Daddy from the Sixers.
Hey, yo, Big Daddy who?
I want to thank you for that Aussie that you blessed us with. Trust the process. Ben Simmons, #1, baby. Let's go, Sixers. Woo!
And what would be the first matchup against LeBron James? Ben Simmons, I mean, he would see how great LeBron truly is. And, of course, wheeling and dealing out there.
Most available. James, it'll count.
Last night was about Ben Simmons. It wasn't about LeBron. Ben Simmons is a baby. The Sixers are, you know, irrelevant for a decade.
Colin just cannot help himself, fixated on Simmons.
But LeBron was making a statement, and the statement was, Ben Simmons is for real. This kid has a chance to be unbelievably special. And before I leave this league, I'm going to go into his house. I'm going to work my butt off, and I'm going to seize control of this game 30 seconds in. He scored, I think, the first 9 points for the Cavs. He wouldn't let anybody else shoot. LeBron doesn't do that. LeBron's a passer.
And of course, Ben Simmons would have numerous welcome to the NBA moments. None like this one where he got hacked.
And then hack a Simmons start. Scott Brooks intentionally fouling Ben Simmons, a 57% shooter coming into the night. He misses 2 free throws there.
The Wizards cut the Sixers' 24-point lead to 7 with the hack of Simmons.
Less than 4 to go. Simmons is missing another pair of free throws. And Washington slowly getting back into this game.
This game would be historical. In his rookie year, Ben Simmons would attempt 29 free throws, and in the fourth quarter would attempt 24. Yes, 24 free throws in a quarter, bro.
I'll step up. I have no fear of taking free throws in the end.
You sort of knew what they were doing. You just going to say George Norton and just stay with them and get at it.
Yeah.
What was your reaction when you started to figure out, like, all right, this is becoming a thing right now?
I mean, I'm going to the line shooting free throws, so I just got to make them.
You got to make them. 15 of 29 in this game.
Are you glad your coach kept you in?
Yeah, of course. You know, I never want to come out of a situation like that.
He said he wanted you to stay and he wanted you to kind of...
He knows. Yeah, he knows my mentality. I'm not scared to take the free throws.
Did you ever think he was maybe going to take you out to that going to your
No.
Ben, what can you learn from going through the hack of Ben or hack of Simmons, whatever we're going to start calling it tonight?
Hope of Ben.
It's not going to happen for that much longer. You know, I'm gonna knock him down.
I really, really hope this is true. Look, 24 free throws, most in a quarter in NBA history. Ben Simmons making history in his rookie year. And people are thinking, looking at this clip, that he's shooting it with his right hand. Finally, he's shooting it with the right hand. That's the right hand. And Ben Simmons being compared to Magic Johnson, I mean, he definitely isn't living up to that comparison. Look at the stats. 18-7-9, whilst Magic had 18-7-7 in his rookie year. Yeah, Ben Simmons is really just dominating.
And think about this is a guy averaging 17 points, really without a jump shot.
I think a lot of people, they see Ben Simmons shooting and they're like, if he can make those, man, in a game too, if he can make those shots in a game, right here is breaking all of them. He's breaking every shot. Let's see if he breaks another one. I doubt he will, though. I think he's going to make this one. Oh, fade away. Okay, he might not make this one. Missed again. Look, Ben Simmons, he would be in a kerfuffle, right? The kerfuffle with the Toronto Raptors.
And now we have a whistle here as Simmons getting into it with C.J. Miles. And technicals have been called on both players, and they've been thrown out of the game.
Shout out C.J. Miles. I just want to say that. But, you know, Ben Simmons getting ejected, so is C.J., and I don't know why. I just want to point this out, right? His rookie year, he was getting into some kerfuffles, right? And Ben Simmons did something in the first half that I'm not sure many people have done in their careers.
Covington, and that's assist number 8. Triple-double watches on. 11 points, 13 boards, and 8 assists.
He was so good out there that people were questioning whether or not Simmons was being snubbed in terms of being in the All-Star, right? An All-Star in 2018 in his rookie year. This is going to be an interesting dialogue moving forward because, yeah, Ben Simmons being snubbed.
I think he deserves it. He's been playing well the whole season, and he's been the best lately. So I think he deserves that spot.
You even had people back in Ben Simmons' home country talking about how outrageous this was.
I rise today to express my outrage at the exclusion of Australian Ben Simmons from this year's NBA All-Star Game.
Now, how did Ben Simmons respond to all this? Well, he said here, I don't know what an All-Star is anymore, and that my stats don't lie about his case being an All-Star this year, right? And yeah, Donovan Mitchell, another rookie that, you know, is pretty good.
Can he do this? Can he win Rookie of the Year? Can he snatch this from Ben
Definitely.
Simmons? I think he can,
He
too.
took 28 shots last night. Nobody cares.
I mean, look, with the way the Sixers are playing also, I think Ben Simmons probably got this award in the bag. I mean, they're good.
Oh, is this guy left-handed, right-handed? Is he amphibious? What is it? Amphibious? Yeah, right. Isn't that when you're both? No.
Chris Webber really called this dude a frog, bro. That's hilarious. Also, the word is ambidextrous for anyone curious. Now, Shannon Sharp, he has some bold things to say about Simmons.
Ben Simmons is going to be a monster.
Yeah?
Skip, he's going to be a monster.
Okay.
I mean, you watch him last night. I've never seen him this aggressive. He was in the post. He was playing out of the post, and they have no answer.
And just so that we know which rookies are in the running for this reward, right? Ben Simmons, you got Donovan Mitchell, you got Jason Tatum, of course, second pick, and then wait, Lonzo Ball. Okay, bro, let's stop the cap. Now, Ben Simmons is running away with this award. That's the narrative that a lot of people have. He's the third player this season in the NBA averaging a triple-double in a 10-game span.
Simmons, pretty play for Sharge.
Oh, that's nice, man. Simmons serving up dimes like a bank teller.
He's got 6 assists already.
It hasn't even been 7 minutes in the game.
I see you a PUBG master, though, so I'm gonna let you be.
You getting it? Hop on, man. Play one.
Yeah, we need one more, man.
You got time. Who do you play tomorrow?
Hawks.
Yeah, you got plenty of time.
I don't know if a rookie should be talking this confidently, man. I know you're the star of the league. You're getting interviews on ESPN and TNT. Look, man, you might be the rookie of the year this year.
No, he can't shoot, but Magic Johnson couldn't either for the first 2 years he was in this league. You're never going to rely on Ben Simmons to be your leading shooter, but he'll be dropping 23 a night like Magic Johnson, and on other nights giving you 17 assists like Magic. And on some nights, after an injury, he'll move into the 4 spot or center and play that too. This kid's an all-timer.
Praise like this in his rookie year, man. I mean, the Sixers, they look good right now, 4th seed.
Coming into this game, you guys had a 14-game win streak. A lot of people thought a win would be a given tonight.
A 15-game winning streak was the season high for a team. The Sixers got it to end the season. And Donovan Mitchell caused quite a stir with his shirt saying, you know, the definition of a rookie.
Does it bother you that he brings this into the public realm? That he's trolling you a little bit?
Nah, it's fine. It's all love. He's a great player. You know, if I wasn't a rookie this year, he would have definitely had it, but you know, I'm not, so.
Ben Simmons pretty confident about his Rookie of the Year case. I mean, you could see it here in this interview.
It's been a 2-man Rookie of the Year race all throughout the season. Yourself, Who's the rookie of the year this year?
Who would I pick?
Who would you pick?
Me, for
You
sure.
pick you?
100% me. If you look at the numbers, you'll see. People who know the game, though.
That was so condescending. Now, let's get to the playoffs, okay? The first round, first time the Sixers are in the playoffs since 2012.
Over 8 again. Just watch it. As he comes down in, got Richardson to lead. And now when he makes that big step, it's at 6-10.
Ben Simmons, I mean, he's just dominating the game, of course, passing it, wheeling and dealing. With no Joel Embiid on the floor, he's injured. So Ben Simmons is having to do a lot of the playmaking, of course.
Simmons guarded by Olynyk. Crossed him up. Oh, he's in his bag. How about that move right there? Was that quick? Mainly because he's going, and now he just comes right back.
Ben Simmons having the time of his life in his playoff debut. 17 points, 14 assists, 9 rebounds.
The key thing there is Simmons drives it right back. In transition.
It's a 2-point game, and sadly, yeah, the Sixers lose this game.
Time. Wade stripping it from the back all by himself.
That was the first time they lost a game since March 13th, and Colin Cowherd, oh, he loves what he sees out of Ben Simmons.
You know I love LeBron. I've talked about him incessantly for a decade. I still think he is absolutely remarkable. But for the first time in 10 to 12 years, I look at the NBA, which I've watched for 4 decades, and I say this now with Ben Simmons. Hey, LeBron, we're good, bro. You can go.
What?
But when I watch Ben Simmons play, it is just a gut feeling. That is something between LeBron and Magic. I felt the same way when I saw Magic break in. I felt the same way when LeBron broke in. I didn't even feel it for Kobe.
You're stupid. You're so stupid. Shut up. Now, Embiid is finally back in the lineup. Game 3 of the playoffs. And yeah, he makes an immediate impact.
Good defensively. He stopped. What a nice pass. And another nice pass.
And Embiid, of course, you know, he's playing with the mask. And, you know, his mask fell off here. And you got Justice Winslow stepping on the mask.
I like the energy he's playing with.
Embiid the answer. He can do that.
And oh, I forgot to tell you, he shushed the crowd as well. And by the way, Ben Simmons, his first triple-double in the playoffs with 4 steals. Yeah, the last rookie to record a triple-double in the playoff game, Magic Johnson.
The process continues.
They finally win the series, the Sixers do. Last time they did that, D-Rose tore his ACL. They were the 8th seed. Yep, this is a marvelous occasion. A marvelous day for the Sixers fan base. Oh, it's amazing.
What's the key to the series?
Well, you just said it. Like, they're down 3 of their top 5 players when you count Kyrie and Gordon Hayward. But now Jaylen Brown, they got their work cut out because they are outmanned right now.
Yeah.
Philadelphia has 2 special players in Embiid and Simmons.
It's kind of sounding like the Sixers are the favorites.
And you got to also worry about Brad Stevens, who's an exceptional coach, forcing Ben Simmons to become a scorer. And if he does that, then we've got a problem.
Interesting.
I don't believe that's going to happen in this series because of the absence of Kyrie Irving.
Oh, and the Celtics crowd, rowdy as they can be.
Possession. Ilya Silva ended up with the open 3, you know, Brian. They've got to make those shots after the...
All right, let's see if Ben Simmons makes this one, and he does. Oh, wow. Now, Ben Simmons averaging 18, 8, and 10 in his playoffs, and something weird happens here.
Ben Simmons, he had 1 point tonight. 1.
He had 5 rebounds in this game, which was a playoff low. He had 7 assists, which is below his average. It's just not a good game, man.
When you look at the box score, you think maybe he had an injury in the first quarter. No, he played 30 minutes. He scored 1 point. The rookie, or should I say the fake rookie, is choking in the playoffs.
And Shaq, man, he sees something like this, he's gonna say something about it, man. Just say disgusting performance.
And I'm picking on Big Ben today. Big Ben, you got to give me more than 1 point. You got to give me more than your average. So let's just say he would have got 10, 15. Even though they took those crazy shots, they still could have won the game. You need more out of your superstar point guard. 1 point is not acceptable.
And Ben Simmons, I mean, look, he came through in the media presser, and he actually told us what the problem was with him.
It was mainly what I did to myself. I think mentally, I was thinking too much, overthinking the plays, and wasn't just out there flowing and playing the way I play, which is free. And I think, you know, obviously they have a game plan. I know what that game plan is. I got to play my game.
Brad Stevens out-coaching Brett Brown, and Ben Simmons just being outclassed out there on the court.
I mean, I spoke to AI before I came in here today, so he's just saying play the game I know how to play, and that's just second nature to me.
Did you seek him out, or did?
Well, I heard he wanted to talk to me. I got on the phone with him and spoke to him, so he gave me some words of encouragement.
It's nice to see AI have Ben's back here, and Tracy McGrady offering some insight into what happened here.
Can you talk about why the Celtics are able to shut him down when he was such a monster in the first round?
I don't think the Celtics shut him down. I think he shut himself down. As you see, he only had 4 shots. That shows me the lack of aggression in his game.
And Brian Windhorst, apparently, he's good in this.
I think Brad Stevens is paying him a compliment. I know that sounds hard. Today is a day where a lot of people are making fun of Ben Simmons. He is setting his entire defensive strategy up to force the ball out of Simmons' hands. And Simmons is not dealing with it very well. He is not forcing the issue. He is not looking to attack. He's making rookie mistakes.
And it will only get worse for the Sixers and Ben Simmons missing a dunk right there.
One of the best defensive teams in the league.
That's a good shot, but Simmons missed the dunk.
With less than 15 seconds left, the Sixers now tied. This is going to be a big possession here, and they turn over the ball.
Ball picked up by Rozier. They got a breakaway. Rozier to Brown. He puts it in.
Oh boy, the Celtics now up 2. Sixers fans are not looking so good. Yeah, this is upsetting.
Here's Bellinelli. Catch and shoot, and it's good.
Philly has the confetti out thinking they won the game, but it's a 2-pointer. Yes, I'm sorry, it's a 2-pointer.
Here's a better look. Yep, clearly a 2, so we're going to overtime.
And now with less than 10 seconds left, the Sixers are up 1. You just got to get a stop here.
Having trouble again inbounding, fires to Horford underneath. Horford gets it to go.
And now the Celtics in a pivotal game 3 to get the commanding 3-0 lead. And if Ben Simmons made this dunk, they would be up.
I think it was just natural instinct. Right next to the rim, it's a shot I take every practice, every day, every game. I take one of those, and I missed it. It's happened. That's the game. You miss shots, you make them. I got a lot of growing to do, and this is the first season I've played. The first time I played in the playoffs. I'm learning a lot, and it's a great opportunity for me and myself and my team. And we're all learning together.
The Sixers did manage to prevent a sweep, but obviously you're in Boston now, and this is going to be a tough outing for the Sixers.
Teams are keying up on him as a non-shooter. When you look at Ben Simmons' shot, does it need to be kind of deconstructed and reconstructed again, kind of like Kawhi did, or is it something just keep working on and it'll get better as is?
So this is Kobe Bryant now being asked about Ben Simmons' jump shot, whether or not it needs to be repaired.
Just aesthetically, I would say just build that thing anew.
And I'll be honest with you, man. Ben Simmons' open dunk, look, you gotta get that jumper going.
Embiid with Horford on him, gives it up. Sharic's wide open, and he's got it.
Saric was so hot. He had 9 points in the fourth quarter, and he had 27 points in the whole game. Yeah, that's what happens when you got a jump shot, man.
Ben Simmons, the baseball pass, and Smart's got it, and the ball game is over.
Oh boy. The series is now over. Celtics win the series. Look at the stats between Sarge and Brown. And Ben Simmons shooting less than 50% on layups? Are we serious?
I'll give you my 10 best basketball players. They are specifically great.
Now, before we get into this egregious top 10, I got to remind you about the promise we made earlier. Did you like the video? It seems like you do. You're still watching it. Please subscribe. Now, LeBron James is number 1, but who's going to be at number 5, I wonder?
Ben Simmons. Oh, you don't like it, do you?
Rookie Ben Simmons was already a top 5 player.
2018 Kia NBA Rookie of the Year is
Ben Simmons.
And yes, he won Rookie of the Year. He might have deserved it. He might not have. I'm not here to discuss that, right? It's his award. He won it. He's technically a rookie. And he even shook hands with Donovan Mitchell. Seems like all is good in the world in terms of their relationship. And Ben Simmons in the offseason, you can see him working on his shooting. Interesting.
Got 2 guys on your team where the number 1 criticism of them is their shooting. Yeah. So Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons, how much interaction do you have with them and trying to help them tweak their shots?
Having a guy like JJ Redick on your team, I mean, the shooting, it should be addressed, right?
Look, my door's always open. They can come to me for any piece of advice they want. I know they have worked both extensively with trainers this offseason. I would say this, though, let's just enjoy, right now, let's just enjoy their greatness at 20 and 22. Their shots are going to develop. I'm a firm believer in that. Both those guys want to be great. Both those guys work hard.
And obviously, you see Ben Simmons working on the shooting in the offseason. You think, look, he's going to take more of those shots during the season, right? I mean, he's going to do those nice passes, sure. Right, Markelle Fultz is also going to be doing those layups. Oh, he's great. But we got to see more shooting out of this team. Ben Simmons shooting free throws. Is he going to make them? No, you can't miss these. You have to start making these, right? Does he make this one? No, he misses the other one again. Ben Simmons is going to have to be better at shooting. Even Brett Brown is emphasizing this now, wanting Fultz and Simmons to improve on their shooting and spacing.
This elevates you guys in kind of the East pecking order?
I mean, you add another all-star to the team, definitely.
So now the Sixers have another star to add on their team. I mean, this is going to be an interesting dynamic with Embiid and Simmons.
A guy like him who can come in, score the ball, veteran leadership, experience. I think he's gonna fit in here.
Obviously, Jimmy Butler has a checkered past, but he made it candidly clear what he brought to the table here.
I love my teammates. I don't think there's too many of them that'll tell you that I'm a bad teammate, but I mean, people get whatever they want to say out. It is what it is, but I think that I'm an incredible human being, teammate, and I'll show that to the guys that are here.
And I wonder, their ceiling now has just been raised. Let's see how much better this team is.
Simmons stepping in. Sixers look for the lead. Ben whizzing down the floor, laying in two. And the Sixers...
Ooh, I don't know about this one, Ben. And the Sixers, yeah, you better be careful. Because, yeah, you obviously lost this game to the Cavaliers. Not because of the play, obviously.
Go. Jordan doing the work. 5 to shoot. Has to shoot. Stuck inside! Good night, Philadelphia!
And that's how she wrote it, folks. I mean, date the Kardashians at your own peril, right? Ben Simmons with a nice play right here to JJ Redick. And, of course, he brings the histrionics with him.
In the game, Lowry, boy, and Simmons not at all happy with the call.
The referees were not pleased with this performance here and gave Ben Simmons a technical.
As Ben takes an expensive seat. Oh, and a technical has been called on him.
A Christmas miracle happened in 2018 where Ben Simmons, he took this shot.
The side of the backboard. Simmons with a rare jumper. Oh, wow, Ben Simmons.
That was a 22-foot jump shot. That was the longest distanced jump shot Ben Simmons had ever made in the NBA at this point.
Field goal this half.
Mitchell is 3 for 8 from behind the arc. There's an answer by Ben Simmons. A mid-range, no less.
Man, he's been looking good these days, man. Mid-range fader. I mean, this is just beautiful. We need more of this, Ben. Now, after the game, of course, Ben Simmons talked about how, the Utah crowd, yeah, they weren't very comical.
The fans are getting after you a little bit. Does that motivate you at all, or?
Not really. It's kind of funny.
It's just a little bit funny. How do you feel about your game?
I mean, they had a long time to prepare to have good things to say to me, and that.
I know you got.
They're still talking like Rookie of the Year stuff. Same old jokes.
No creativity.
None. That's what I was kind of disappointed, but. You have that long to prepare, and that's all you have to say? Come on.
And Jimmy Butler, of course, trolling Ben Simmons with the Rookie of the Year trope.
Good game, Rookie of the Year. Good shit, boy. Wow.
Benny Boy here has to be some sort of genius. I mean, who would think of doing such a thing during a game?
They love to foul Simmons, but he'll bring the ball in.
He bounced it off the backside of Thornwell.
Man, this kid in the second year already doing things that we haven't seen from an NBA player, a veteran, or even a great player. Ben Simmons might be up there with the greats.
What do you make of all this?
I hope it's not true. But Jimmy Butler, as we know, has been carrying a little bit of a track record in terms of dealing with coaches. So.
Whew, there's already some fireworks being sparked here. Jimmy Butler testing Brett Brown over the offense, over the Sixers' offensive schemes. And here in the Ringer, they ask a very peculiar question. They say here, what if the Philly playmaker doesn't need a jumper for the team to get to the next level? Ben Simmons might not be holding the Sixers back with his horrific jumper. Interesting.
Essentially a new big four in Philly. You've got Embiid, you've got Ben Simmons, you've got Jimmy Butler, and now you add Tobias Harris to that.
Another player that is capable of making plays for himself, Tobias Harris. This is going to be an interesting quartet here. And of course, Ben Simmons, a lot of people say he can't shoot, but he assists on the most threes in the NBA. And Ben Simmons against the Lakers, he got exposed here, okay? Yeah, he makes this mid-range shot, but LeBron tested him even more.
Time scoring list. Some 256 points, offensive rebound putbacks in this game.
Look at how much space LeBron is giving Ben Simmons. This is egregious.
Simmons surveying out front. LeBron laying all the way back in the key, daring him to shoot. Simmons does.
Ben Simmons now camping in the paint, clogging it essentially for Embiid, not having a lot of room to work with.
Maybe a screen, definitely. Nobody argued about it.
Ben Simmons took a three, and you could hear the fans kind of rise up.
And Ben Simmons, he started getting to his head here. He took a free-pointer because of how much space was given. The Sixers teammates had some interesting things to say about this.
I wasn't shocked by it. I wasn't shocked by it.
You sure?
I thought it was going.
He was actually going in. Me personally, I was getting ready to run the play, and then I just saw the ball go over, and then I was oh shit, and then he caught me off guard, and then I'm in a position where I'm like, okay, like what just happened?
And I appreciate Embiid for being more honest with Ben Simmons here.
He's been working on it. Every day we tell him, gotta shoot it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a 30% three-point shooter, and you got guys that say jump on my feet. I don't understand how that's possible, but they still do. So we all, every day he works on it, and I think he's coming. That was the first step, and I hope that he keeps shooting.
Thank you, guys. And at the time, Heat Check, a great YouTube channel, covered this whole Ben Simmons stuff.
Simmons was so confused that he even got baited into taking a three, which of course he missed. But if you're asking yourself, why am I even mentioning this? It's because this was only the third attempt from behind the arc of the season for Ben.
But really, this was his first actual attempt.
And look at the other two, half-court heaves at the end of quarters, meaning that he really doesn't feel comfortable taking those shots.
You probably already know this, but yeah, at this point in his career, he hasn't made a free.
He knows he just was, hit his fist. Simmons punches it all the way out to me.
Now, Ben is a pretty good player, right? Look how he fakes a dribble handoff and goes inside to slam it. Oh, beautiful. Jason Tatum couldn't believe it.
On the play, kept it alive.
Jordan Knox with the finish and the foul.
No regard for human life. Ben Simmons getting postered not just by Tatum but by Kevin Knox. Well, Kevin Knox can't say that he's an all-star like Ben Simmons can. Yeah, he made his first all-star game in the second year of his career.
And back comes Ben Simmons of the Sixers. Oh, he went all the way for the stuff.
And now post All-Star break, Ben Simmons was in a kerfuffle with Yusuf Nurkic.
Hell no.
I just feel better when he's in the building.
I'll tell you what, Ben Simmons, nice retort. He makes the free throws well, but you're losing by 13 points at this point. And, Ben Simmons, again, getting exposed by the Pelicans.
It looked like Alfred from the beginning of the year. Simmons, the screwball.
Thankfully, he got the rebound and converted on this two-pointer here. But look at how much space was given to him. Yeah, this is not good. Now, Ben Simmons and Kevin Hart would interview each other in the ice bath.
It's a great city. Of course, we got ups and downs like every place else. Right. Within those ups and downs, you're going to get the best and you're going to get the worst of it. I got booed in Philadelphia one time.
Yeah, the fans.
Yeah, they'll let you know.
And just look at this shot right here. He shoots it with his right hand, and he makes it. Is he actually shooting it with the wrong hand this whole time? The right hand. This is his right hand. Let's go. What? He's just freestyling and making jump shots, man. He's looking better and better when he shoots that with his left now. Okay.
I'm invested interest in this question. How far can Ben Simmons go?
Well, he's got to get a jump shot. It's like, it sounds humorous and all that, but I'm dead ass serious. You can't, because if not, he'll regret it. When his career is over.
And at this point, man, Kobe making a good point, man. You got to work on that jump shot. You got to have that in your game somehow, especially in this day and age. I mean, come on. The era that we're playing in, Ben Simmons constantly being exposed on the perimeter.
Simmons in a rush.
Ooh. What the heck was that? They just simultaneously flopped?
Every time we show up.
Giannis.
Oh.
Oh, man.
What a statement dunk that was. And Ben Simmons, don't worry, he will get his get back.
Embiid goes quick on Lopez. Tough shot. Followed by Simmons.
I mean, it's just nice. The rebound and just dunk it over him. And Ben Simmons, you know, the playoffs is coming up, and a lot of people are wondering, where is that jump shot at? We need to see it, that 3-point shot.
Simmons at the line, where he's 1 of 2, has just 3 points.
That's problematic for this team, I think, this 60% free throw shooting.
Oh, it's ugly when the Sixers are booing you at the line.
He's got 8 points and 5 rebounds in the quarter as Simmons misses again. And without Jimmy Butler.
And the Sixers as a whole look like they didn't even care. I mean, Embiid looking at Amir Johnson's phone.
What is that thing doing out to me?
And why is Joel Embiid looking at it?
And smiling. Like, you're down. That is a very bad look.
As you can see, yeah, the Brooklyn Nets are winning this game 1 of the series. Interesting. The underdogs are winning. D'Angelo Russell dominating.
The Brooklyn Nets take game 1 in Philadelphia.
Yeah, you're probably wondering, how many points does Ben Simmons score? 9 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists.
I love the fans, and I've never said anything about them. They all show us a lot of love. I understand why they're born, but you know, the fact that is after every single miss, when you know shots are gonna fall, they're not gonna fall. And tonight they didn't fall, but you know, for me, I'm fine. I play through anything. But for some guys, he just unknown. He can be unknown. Just like, you know, every missed shot, and then you get booed, and then so you get the next one. It kind of feels like, well, should I shoot it or should I not, because I'm about to get booed, or I don't know. Some guys are like that.
And I think we all know who he's talking about. But, you know, Ben Simmons, he did say this. He said, if you're going to boo, stay on that side. And, you know, being hostile towards a fan base that wants to see you win, I mean, they clearly just are passionate and they want to see you make your free throws, right? Jared Dudley said this. We will leave him wide open until he proves in this league that he can make it. Right now, he's not even attempting it. Oh, boy.
The Brooklyn Nets outscored 21-2. And now Ben Simmons.
After a game 2 win, I mean, look, Ben Simmons and Jared Dudley are talking to each other back and forth. And you could see here, man. Embiid in game 2, by the way, elbowing Jared Allen. Of course, that got talked about a lot in the presser after the game.
Joe, was it a point to be more physical tonight? Both sides, both ends of the court. And were you surprised that you got a technical on the elbow swing through at the end of the second quarter?
I wasn't surprised. I saw the replay, and obviously it wasn't intentional, and I got him pretty good, and I'm sorry about it, but
Now, why would you laugh after saying that? I mean, it sounded sincere. It sounded like he actually wanted to apologize, but then ended up laughing just nervously. Why, man?
I'm not usually humble, that's why he's laughing. But yeah, I was just trying to be aggressive.
And of course, Karis LeVert didn't like that.
We really didn't like that. We thought that was kind of disrespectful, especially after the elbow he threw. It is what it is. There's no love lost. It's a playoff series. We expect that.
Ben Simmons was also asked about, you know, the raising the hand to the fans, right? That was an interesting thing he did there.
Ben, there was a moment there in the second half where you got a steal and a layup and then hit the hand to your ear like Allen Iverson, egging on the crowd. Tell us what you were feeling at that moment and what made you do that.
I was thinking about the boos from last game.
There have been reports surfacing around this time about Brett Brown and how he apparently lost the locker room. Yeah, saying here, Brown having long ago lost the locker room following the acquisition of Jimmy Butler. And in that same report, the Daily News talked about how Ben Simmons, there was at one point a game where he sat out, right? Ben Simmons sat out of a 21-point loss to Orlando Magic due to a stomach virus. Actually, what happened was Simmons had spent the previous night partying in Orlando. Oof. That is not a good thing to come out, right? That's exposing a lot of the Sixers' problems. And of course, Jared Dudley made a controversial quote about Ben Simmons.
Great player in transition. And once you get him in the half court, he's average.
And some, of course, will say that's ridiculous. You can't say that.
He is not an average player in anything. He is.
Argue with him. He's got the 100%.
He can be sometimes disappointing in the half court, but he creates in the half court. At times, he reminds you of Magic the way he creates. Is he Kevin Durant? No, he is not Kevin Durant.
Now Scotty had to push back because this was just a bit too far.
Guy didn't like that.
I mean, I really think he's a real good player, but again, in the half-court game, he does change a little bit. He can't shoot the ball from the outside.
He's not average.
He can't shoot the ball from the outside, so he's not as a big a threat. He's not a LeBron.
Ben Simmons, man, he responded to all this and doing the Jared Dudley quotes.
Jared Dudley comments about you. That's good. You're a great player in the open court, averaging in the half court. What do you think of that?
Let's go from Jared Dudley. Come on.
And you know what? The following game, yeah, he was incredible. Ben Simmons actually dominated in this game. We were actually seeing the best of Ben Simmons here.
Sixers just break down that Brooklyn defense. 8th assist for
Ben Simmons just thriving in Brooklyn, looking like he's the best player on the court. Jared Dudley, not so much. Oh boy.
For the Nets tonight. This is Dudley. Misses everything.
You could see here, man, Ben Simmons being petty. Jared Dudley missing an open three-pointer, and Ben Simmons letting him know about it. Yep, that's a miss.
And I tell you what, since those comments from Jared Dudley, he has responded the way you'd want a great player to respond.
A career postseason high, 31 points with 9 assists and 4 rebounds to boot.
It's that when I see Ben Simmons, I see the Greek freak.
Yeah.
I see an unusually tall point guard or point forward.
At this point, a lot of people are talking about how great Ben Simmons is, right? How great he can be, right? And the question is always, that jump shot. When he develops that jump shot, he's going to be a monster.
My opinion has not changed about Ben Simmons. I believe that Ben Simmons is a superstar in the making.
Yeah.
I believe that Ben Simmons is a jump shot away from the Philadelphia 76ers winning the title.
And as expected, after a great performance, you're going to be lauded, you're going to be praised to the high heavens by Stephen A.
And oh, by the way, I'll tell you the number one thing I've come to love about him. His attitude. He don't give a damn about nothing. I mean, he is fearless. He ain't scared. He's a rough rider. He's a dog, and I mean that in a very, very good way.
And despite Ben Simmons having a great performance, there were still rumblings out there, right? A report came out talking about how Ben Simmons was considered to be a trade asset by the GM of the Sixers.
There was never a conversation with the organization about whether or not Ben Simmons is to go someplace or not, or whether or not he was untouchable. It's according to the Sixers. It is utter nonsense. That report, they don't even want to hear about it, okay?
Now, come on, it's game 4. There's only up 2-1, right? Jared Dudley here with a flop.
Keeping it alive, he gives you a lot of moves. Here's a 3 by Dudley.
Here's the 3 by Dudley. And look at the reaction. Yeah, what's up? What's up, Ben?
Dudley was playing pretty good defense on Ben Simmons. He had 4 points, actually 6 points now. And yeah, there was a lot of petty stuff going on. And, Ben Simmons not performing so well in the first half. And, there would be a kerfuffle here with Embiid and Allen. And oh boy.
By Embiid and crashing again to the floor, my goodness. Dudley and Simmons into the stands.
It was fun seeing, Ben Simmons being tested by a guy like Jared Dudley. And, of course, Ben Simmons and the Sixers would win this series in 5. It was an easy series, to be frank. And let's get to the next series.
I told him before the game, go get this one. He told him that he had to carry us, and he did that.
This was James Butler. That was the adult in the gym.
Man, Jimmy Butler came out big in this game against the Raptors, a much tougher opponent. The third player to ever have a 30-10-5 game in the playoffs for Sixers. And look how many clutch points Butler had compared to the Raptors. Yeah, Jimmy Butler was big. And this raised a question about, the coexistence with Embiid and Ben Simmons.
Why are the Sixers at times so inconsistent? And I brought that question up in our meeting this morning, and you had, Isaiah, a fascinating answer as to why.
Well, because Simmons and Embiid, while they do fit sometimes, they play a different style. Simmons is best when they up and down, when they play fast pace. Then he can score the basketball, he can assist, he can get three-point shooters open, he can get to the foul line, he can do all the things that he wants to do, and he is the biggest player out on the floor. However, when Embiid is in the game, Embiid becomes a post player, similar to the way Magic and Kareem used to play with each other. Magic would push the basketball up the floor when Kareem wasn't in the game. When Kareem went in the game, he would slow it down, and then he would punch it in. When he punches it inside, when Simmons puts the ball inside and Embiid is double-teamed, Simmons is not a great shooter. So, therefore, people lay off of him, and then he has to look for Butler.
And, of course, Ben Simmons' postseason high came when Embiid didn't even play.
This is what he did. He played 45 minutes. He had 6, 7, and 5.
And so, yes, right after he said it, Embiid didn't play, and then he had 30 points. And everybody was like, oh, it's like, no. You look at those numbers, and it's not that all the time, but a lot of the time, those numbers can be very, very pedestrian.
And now the question is, if they can't coexist, who are you picking out of these two players?
Yeah, he's a half-court player when Embiid's in the game, and he should be.
Yeah. Because Embiid is the most important
Because
piece.
Embiid is the most important piece.
Ben Simmons essentially reverted to a role player in this series, averaging 11, 7, and 5 against the Raptors. Yeah, this is not good.
Leonard loses it. Simmons 2-on-1. Throws it up. Butler throws it down.
Horace Grant would continue to pour it on.
A man had another triple single tonight.
Danny Green for 3.
In the pivotal Game 5, where it's a 2-2 series, to take the lead, Ben Simmons had 7 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
And Shaq couldn't believe it when he seen it.
Philly's gonna.
Ben Simmons looked so out of whack. People were questioning whether or not he was really a point guard. He was really fit to be a point guard. Look at his shot profile, right? Most of his shots coming from the paint.
You got to be aware of the inbounder here if you're Philly.
Dish it off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger? Doom, 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 doom. Game, series. I'll stop. Look, the Sixers, yeah, this was a disappointing loss. Oh, the Kawhi Leonard with the luckiest shot of his life, and Bruce Brown, putting some blame on Ben Simmons.
But as soon as we get the inbounds, get on the right-hand side right now, Ben. Get on the right. Oh, he doesn't get in. He's getting. Now watch Ben Simmons. He stops playing. You can't stop him. This is Game 7.
What do you want him to do? Push off Embiid and just defend? Like, come on, man. Embiid was right in front of him. Okay, like, stop.
Come on, Tibbs. What would you have done to me if I would have done that, Tibbs?
Trade.
You could see it in those eyes. He was serious when he said that, man. Now, look, Ben Simmons, he had a message for the Australians.
Hey, guys, tough way to finish the season. I just want to let everybody know I really appreciate the support through the year.
He would apparently play in the FIBA World Cup that was coming up this summer.
Also like to announce that I am going to be a boomer for the upcoming events, so stay tuned.
That's great to see, man. Hopefully Ben Simmons, he does well for Australia.
Ben Simmons got a massive extension today. 5 years, $100 zillion.
I heard that.
What a massive deal this was at the time, and of course still is to this day. He got the official stamp of approval from the Sixers organization.
I love him. You don't love him. You don't love his game.
No, it's not that I don't love him. I just want guys to respect the game more, right? It's comments throughout your career. It's more so I don't have to shoot. I don't have to work on my shot. Those type of things.
Ben Simmons, it's like he doesn't want to shoot during games.
Do you like his game?
I mean, I'm not in love with it, but I like it. I like it. It's okay. It's not like
it's
ooh,
not
wow.
your game.
Yeah, it's not ooh wow. He's not like a ooh wow.
Colin's probably shocked at hearing this, but look, putting up 7, 7, and 4 in a Game 5.
He would be great
on a small team of shooters.
There you go. If you can spread him, if you can put shooters around him, you wouldn't really see his flaw. But because he has Joel Embiid, and because he has Al Horford, and Al Horford's a spot up now, so which is great for him. So he can kind of open up the lane a little bit for Ben. But I just want him to really take this person because he could be one of the greatest of all time if he get at least a 15-footer and a consistent one.
Now, I don't know if this was his agent, Rich Paul, saying this, or if Ben Simmons himself wanted to not play for Australia. Yeah, he's not playing for Australia. Come on, dude.
Australia needs him. And what's his excuse? I'm getting ready for a championship. You and every other player who pretty much is playing the World Cup.
And of course, the Australian news, I'm pretty sure they won't be happy about this one.
What do you say? Is Ben Simmons worth that $170 million max deal?
No, not yet. Okay. But you got to give it to him.
This is an interesting take from Max, but he may have a point here. Look, Ben Simmons, of course, his jump shot is the biggest flaw of his game and really hinders him from being a great player. And this is something he has to improve on.
Who's your favorite to win the East?
Clearly the Philadelphia 76ers. I thought the addition of going out and getting Al Horford, and I think Tobias Harris is going to be terrific there.
And a lot of people coming into the 2019 offseason had the Sixers as the favorites in the East. Yeah, they had a good-looking team, really nice.
But let me tell you something. It's going to come down to Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. At some point, them two young players who are both terrific young players, I want to repeat that. Two terrific young players. But Joel Embiid's got to get his fat butt in shape, and Ben Simmons got to work on his game.
And, oh, wow. Ben Simmons in the offseason, he's shooting threes and making them. Oh, he looks nice. Is this what is he doing here? A fadeaway? And he makes it. Okay, yeah, this is a turnaround. Yeah, Ben Simmons looking nice. A pull-up midi. Okay, I can't wait.
There is a fatal flaw, as Mike Greenberg would say in his game. And that's not attempting. I didn't say not shooting. That says shows off shooting range. I'm saying not attempting. Shots outside of the paint for a point guard is something I have never seen.
You know what I want to tell
you,
him, Ben? It's okay if you miss, man. It's okay. No big deal. You miss some jump shots,
And Jalen Rose here taking a shot at the Sixers developmental coaches, man. Oh, boy.
The reason why I brought up the coaching is I saw this with Markelle Fultz. Okay, a guy that went number 1, got the yips, as they called them, and couldn't make a jump shot. So at some point, your player development has to be there. And you have to challenge your players into getting in the gym.
Interestingly enough, Jalen Rose actually has faith in Ben Simmons improving on his jump shot and actually implementing it into his game soon.
For Ben Simmons, I do believe that this is a year that he has the confidence to attempt shots outside of the paint. That's going to unlock their offense, and that's going to make them my favorite potentially to come out of the East.
Oh, they're already my favorite to come out the East.
Now, in this interview, Chris Carter, right, talking to Tobias Harris, Tobias actually calling out Chris Carter for criticizing Ben Simmons' jumper.
You're always on my man's jump shot, but
I am, absolutely. Can we talk about that?
We can, yeah, why not? I mean, I was with him in the gym in L.A. He's shooting it. He's confident with it.
A clip will come out soon after Ben Simmons, dunking, but also... Oh, wow. If Ben Simmons can make shots like this, oh my goodness, how is he making these?
I find it so crazy that the only guy who doesn't get checked to go in the casino is this guy.
I guess, you know.
I get checked. Mike gets checked. I get checked. And Taj gets checked.
Ben Simmons now claiming he is being racially profiled to not enter the casino.
Thank you, Crown Casino. Damn.
Apparently, according to radio host Neil Mitchell in Australia, he says here that Ben Simmons had a commercial agreement with Victoria government.
So, the state government, through either Visit Victoria or Melbourne Major Events, which we were talking about yesterday, has reportedly paid for Ben Simmons, who is a Melbourne man, grew up in Melbourne, went to Box Hill High, now a superstar of basketball, although he's got a way to go yet, but he's very successful. Paid for Ben Simmons to come here on the off-season to promote Victoria. That is ridiculous. This bloke's paid hundreds of millions in his contract, but more than that, they've paid this money and he's come here and he's effectively trashed us by these allegations against Crown Casino, which he refuses to front up to.
Apparently, Ben Simmons was being interviewed by Australian football star Campbell Brown, and yeah, he apparently he made a joke about the whole casino thing, and Ben Simmons was not happy.
The line he said to Ben Simmons was, "We've got a fair bit in common, you and I. You drive a Maserati, I drive a Toyota Kluger. You're worth 250 mil, I'm borderline unemployed." Well, technically true. The last thing we have in common is we've both been denied entry to Crown. No. Just couldn't help himself. And at which point, Ben Simmons said, "This interview's done. This interview is
Cracked
over."
it.
Cracked it.
He stormed out.
He stormed out, took the microphone off, threw his toys out of the cot.
A big loss for the Sixers. Yeah, Jimmy Butler ended up going to Miami Heat in a sign of trade for Josh Richardson. Yeah, Embiid was not too happy about that.
That's my guy. That's my brother forever. I wish he was on the team because I feel like the relationship that I built with him could have gone a long way.
He was building that bond with him during the playoff run.
Jimmy, you know, when it was the fourth quarter, we knew the ball was going to be in either me or Jimmy's hand, and I knew that I could count on them too. So this year it kind of changes around. Now other guys got to step up, and I got to do more.
And Simmons once again being questioned about, you know, him not shooting the free-pointer in his career.
Yeah, I've had shots. Yeah, I've had shots. Yeah, had shots. Played basketball. Yeah. Come on, man. That's a dumb question. Have you make some, or have I ever made a three? Are you talking about in practice? Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of guys. You haven't made one in the regular.
Yeah, you're right. I haven't. I'm an all-star, so.
An interesting response there. Now, Ben Simmons, he would end up making history for himself.
They want him to shoot it.
The insane reaction here. I mean, look at him making his first ever three-pointer preseason. Nobody cares, bro. This was his first three-pointer made that we had seen in the game.
Me re-signing kind of helped, and this summer finding who I was as a player again. You know, I kind of lost that last season to where I was just going through motions and I wasn't playing the game I knew how to play.
And I always appreciate it when the player is candid about, you know, what happened during the season and stuff. That's interesting.
So what do you got to say to people that keep asking you about your jump shot?
Nothing really. I really don't. It really goes back to what we were talking about at the start. Like, I don't care. Yeah. Like, I'm working. Like, what do you want me to do?
And Stephen A. Smith, he would harp on this, right? Ben Simmons, his jump shot will lead to great things.
I look at the Philadelphia 76ers, and I literally believe a jump shot by Ben Simmons is holding a championship in the palm of the Philadelphia 76ers' hands. He gets one, they win the title. He doesn't, they don't.
It's going to be an interesting season for a player that now is actually taking the three-pointer.
Ben Simmons did not return for the second half Wednesday night at Utah because of what the team called a sprained AC joint.
Oh boy. Now, fortunately for us, Ben Simmons would be able to play soon enough.
Ntilikina, a below-average three-point shooter. There's Simmons! Yes! He did it! Ben Simmons!
This time, he actually made a three-pointer in an NBA regular season game. Oh, Ben Simmons, man. We could see it. The future is bright now, guys.
How big a deal is it, Tracy, that he did this?
Well, it's a very big deal.
And without thinking about it, right?
Yeah, the shot looks so fluid to me, right? Like he's done it several times.
This really just has to be mental. We see him take those shots in practice and off seasons. Why?
I don't know why he's so uncomfortable with shooting his shot, because for me, I mean, he's such...
Look, Zach Lowe raised a good point here. Sorry to interrupt T-Mac, by the way.
The key is he can't now go 5 straight games without taking one. He has to keep taking them. It doesn't have to take 5 a game. He has to keep taking them, because the more he takes them, the less it's a huge deal, and the people are giving him an ovation, and the announcers are going crazy. It just needs to be normalized.
That's an important point here, man. We can't have it to where every time he takes a free, it's a scene, right? It's like, he's about to make history, right? No, that's not the gravity of the situation, right? Dwight Howard has as many three-pointers made this season as Ben Simmons.
It's been a long time since he's been able to run down holding up 3 fingers. Look at Boogie.
They're on the road. Simmons, it's for 3. Got it!
And that's 2 three-pointers now that he's made. 2 in the regular season. And we haven't even gotten to January. And yeah, Ben Simmons had a great game.
Marvelous. And that's an understatement. Simmons again. Wow! Scoreboard for Burke. Alley-oop for Simmons, and there it is. A career-high 34.
And it's beautiful, man. Ben Simmons now, you know, with the help of Brett Brown, being told to take a minimum of 1 three-pointer a game.
Who was the most excited when Grant hit that 3?
Grant, probably.
Apparently, Grant Williams was being called Ben Simmons because he couldn't make a three-pointer for the longest time.
Yeah, we were calling him Ben Simmons for the longest. But he knocked one down, and Ben knocked him down too, so shout out to both of those guys.
Ben Simmons' shot profile is still egregious, though. He's still not taking enough of these shots from the mid-range and three-pointer. It's pretty disappointing. Even Kevin O'Connor started calling him out, calling him a coward in the 4th quarter.
Leads it for Korkmaz and another assist. But he is still on the bench for the Sixers, up 17 as Simmons goes gliding in, gets 2 more, enhancing his triple-double.
Ben Simmons is still a great player, right? And he's still wheeling and dealing out there. That's his bread and butter, right? Getting guys open. And 16, 13, and 17 is impressive. 29, 13, and 11. 34, 12, and 12. Yeah, Ben Simmons, he was good.
Among the things he did last night was pass Ben Simmons on the all-time three-point shot made. Wow! Ben, you hear that, Ben? He has made 4. He has made 12.
The triple doubles are great and all, but you still got no J, man. Come on now.
My point is, they let Simmons shoot threes. He won't even try. This guy's going out there and taking that shot.
And he looks so good when he shoots it. You know, during pre-game shoot-arounds. It's like, Ben Simmons, come on. You should be able to take more of these, please.
Isn't it time to just choose already between Embiid and Simmons?
Yes. Look, I think this season and the end result of this season, I think, is a referendum on this team.
And again, when being confronted with who would you choose between these two?
If you get beat in like the first round, which is not out of the realm of possibility, I think you have to break up this group, and I think Simmons will be the one to go.
And the media was really making a big deal of how this, tandem cannot coexist.
If you look at the league and you look at this team, do you say, oh yeah, I see this team winning a championship at some point? If you don't, then I say you reshuffle the deck.
Which one would you give up, trade?
I would give up Ben Simmons.
It was becoming increasingly obvious to many that Embiid was clearly the better player here.
Ben, because I've seen Markelle Fultz improve his jump shot. Lonzo Ball's a jump shooter. Giannis Antetokounmpo has a three-point shot. This, to me, is the great mystery in the NBA, is that Ben Simmons, after all these years, still does not have any semblance of a jump shot, never mind three-point range, a pull-up jump shot from 17, 18 feet.
And oddly enough, Scottie Pippen is giving Ben Simmons more credence than I think many people think he deserves.
I do think that Ben Simmons is probably the best player on the Philadelphia team because he does so much, and he makes other players better. He allows other players to flourish because of what he can do as a basketball player. Like LeBron, very dominant on the offensive end, a lot of downhill. He's one of those guys that when the floor is open, he will flourish.
Now, obviously, you could say that Simmons is holding Embiid back. Pippen is making the opposite argument.
And when Embiid is in there, he does kind of hold Ben Simmons back a little bit because he doesn't have that space. But I do think those two players can exist together, and they can win together.
And D-Wade basically now telling Ben Simmons, yo, just go get it, man. Don't wait.
Well, don't wait. Giannis is not waiting. Right? I don't want, I love Ben. I think Ben can be a star in this league. And I don't want him to wait and say, wait, my opportunity. Take it now. And I think a lot of guys do that. They wait and say, oh, next year or next year.
And we didn't really get the response of, Ben Simmons and Embiid, but now we get to see what they really think of all this kerfuffle.
Two different types of players. I mean, what do your thoughts say when you hear that?
I think it's BS.
And Embiid, he says, look, we can both coexist.
When you look at the last couple of years, the last 2 years that we've been playing together, it was not a problem. This year is only a problem because at times our offense has struggled, and I think he's definitely gonna be better after the All-Star break. But I mean, you just look at the last 2 years, what we've been able to do. And I think he can walk, and he's going to walk.
And Ben Simmons essentially, saying the same thing here.
Takes time. Not everything is supposed to be perfect. Not everything works straight away. We're two different people trying to figure it out. So, I love playing with Joe. I think he's an amazing talent, and I got a lot of respect for his game, and I know he feels the same way about me. So as long as we continue to strive and go the right way, I think we're going to be fine.
Now here's Embiid being cheeky, though.
You never go up against Ben Simmons. Give me one thing we can look forward to, seeing you guys as opponents, not teammates.
Well, if I guard him, I'm gonna make him shoot. So
this is why they call Joel Embiid, man. I mean, this guy is just a troll. Now, Ben Simmons would also troll back Embiid here. A little smack in the booty rear. I mean, this is just nice stuff right here. I mean, he should try out for the butt-slapping Olympics.
In terms of the 76ers, Ben Simmons is out tonight with lower back soreness. He started feeling it yesterday, got treatment yesterday, got treatment today, but had to play through it.
Now, look, I know Ben Simmons, the injuries are piling up, but look, he is assisting on the most threes in the NBA by any player. He is just a revolutionary piece. Look, seriously, though, yeah, Ben Simmons, it's one of those things. The injuries are piling up now.
Sage, there is a real level of concern about this injury, and the Sixers are preparing for the possibility that they're going to be out. They're going to be without Ben Simmons here for a period of time. And
I guess Colin Cowherd went on vacation and picked out somebody even more stupid.
My argument for LeBron being the MVP is
in 2020.
Look, I think if you take Giannis off of the Bucks and you put Ben Simmons on the Bucks, I'm not sure he doesn't have the same sort of statistical dominance because, again, the lane is all clear.
This is so dumb. I hate this argument so much. Now, Jimmy Butler, he did reveal some interesting insights to JJ Redick.
And we're all sitting in there, and nothing got accomplished at all. So I was like, and I told you this as we walked out, JJ, why would I ever go back in there again?
Apparently, this happened during a film session from the Sixers.
Like, nothing's getting accomplished. Nobody's saying nothing to anybody. And we just sitting in here watching film, and you can literally hear the thing just clicking. And we all just looking around.
And it was obvious during the playoffs that, the Sixers were leaning towards Butler more than Simmons. Oh, boy.
Towards the end of the year, though, as we did sort of tweak how the offense was run, especially in the playoffs, where you were playing on the ball more. Did that relationship evolve at all, or was it strictly a professional relationship?
I would say it was professional, but to this day, I don't think that was fair.
And Jimmy Butler defending Ben Simmons. Wow, that's interesting.
I don't think it was fair because the entire year, Ben had the ball. Ben had the ball.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me that in one playoff series, you just switch it up like that? I would be like he was. Yeah. I would feel a type of way.
Yeah.
He's playing Warzone here, Ben Simmons is, and he shares his take on who's the top 5 defenders.
I look at AD, and I think like he's a better defender than Gobert because he can defend like guards at times.
And really, where he ranks Gobert is actually pretty shocking to me.
Giannis, I'm putting myself in there too. What's that, 4?
That's 5.
I didn't say Rudy though, because I look at like Rudy and Pat. I put Pat B in there.
You cannot put Rudy. You cannot not put Rudy in your top 5.
Why?
Nice.
I play ball. I'm looking at guys who can guard 1 through 5, man.
Okay, then. Interesting. Now, Ben Simmons, he was apparently going to be benched by Brett Brown.
But he did sit down before the season, Tony, and with his parents, by the way, and said, listen, we need you to shoot threes for our team to space the floor to help everybody. If you don't, I can bench you. I can do that. Don't make me do that. I want you to shoot threes. But if you want, do you want me to bench you if you don't take them? This was a real thing that was on the table.
And honestly, I mean, Ben Simmons should be taking more frees. Brett Brown is right to do this. But obviously, Brett Brown himself, didn't want to bench him.
In the end, Brett Brown, he's too good a person, honestly, to use that technique.
Now, what was interesting about this here is that apparently the higher-ups in the Sixers wanted him to do this.
Now, I will tell you this, that my sources tell me that the front office and some of the ownership wanted Brett Brown to do that.
I mean, look, personally, I would do that. I mean, just look at this shot profile. It's egregious. It's not just the freeze. He should take more mid-range jumpers too.
Can Simmons and Embiid lead the Sixers to a title?
And of course, that's the question that many were asking, right? Ben Simmons and Embiid. I mean, look at their records when they both play, when either of them is out, when both are out. It's safe to say that they can only win a title if both guys are able to play.
Yes, sir. Easy.
Did Ben Simmons just miss the entire ocean? No, this is disgusting. I'm so sorry. Look, Ben Simmons was not missing jumpers here in this clip, and apparently this was a teaser for what he was about to do in Orlando.
You shoot way more, dog. This shot look good.
Orlando?
Yeah. I'll be watching.
Coming for it.
I'll be watching. Yeah.
Ooh, I'm seeing clips like this where he's turning around, shooting a free-pointer fadeaway. Yeah, Ben Simmons, he's looking good.
35% from distance.
Was that a 3 from Ben Simmons?
I think it was. He was right on the line.
Headband Ben is not playing around, folks. He's actually looking to shoot that free-pointer. And wait, did he make a free?
Ben Simmons now in his street clothes, still walking very gingerly. Again, left the game with a left knee injury.
Unfortunately, Ben Simmons, he tweaked his knee, and he's not looking so good to play.
Maria, for all intents and purposes, Ben Simmons' season is over with the Sixers. Ben Simmons is going to have those loose bodies removed from that left knee, a procedure in the next few days, and he is not expected to return to the Sixers this season.
And that about wraps up their title chances. Yeah, this is not a good scene.
Just a festival of defensive miscommunication for Philly. Look at this. Where are they going? Misses Kemba Walker. He would score 32.
Embiid can only do so much when they're missing a player like Ben Simmons that covers for a lot of the Sixers' defensive mishaps. And of course, this was the second time in playoff history the Sixers got swept. Embiid, that's not a good look. I'm sorry. But Ben Simmons here, apparently he was hurt when he saw his team getting swept. He did not want to feel that emotion ever again. Oh boy.
You're getting paid millions. What the hell are you doing with your day that you can't improve your jump shot?
Patience is running low on Ben Simmons. We need to see it next season. We need to see that jumper.
That you can't improve your game? I don't want to hear, well, maybe he just doesn't do that. Learn, damn it.
Now, Brett Brown, he did get fired from a coach. So who would be the next coach?
Healthy.
Right.
To me, the two nuclear weapons are sitting there in Philadelphia, and they don't know how to detonate. If Doc took Embiid and Ben Simmons, I believe he could mold them he could show them the way.
The guy that blew a 3-1 lead coaching the Clippers, yeah, okay, this is not good. Now, look, a quote surfaced about how apparently Jimmy Butler, quote, didn't view Simmons on par with someone like himself or Embiid when it came to mental makeup.
Doc Rivers, hired by the Sixers yesterday after 3 days after just parting ways with the Clippers.
Look, the Doc Rivers stock may be falling, but look, this is a coach that's experienced. I mean, he's brought a championship to Boston, so it's going to be interesting to watch here.
Let's move on. The 76ers officially named Daryl Morey president of basketball operations and extended the contract of general manager Elton Brand today.
Now look, the Sixers, they didn't just reshuffle the hierarchy in the front office and coaching staff, right? They also are looking at potential trades here. James Harden's on the move, and Ben Simmons could be too.
And as far as the Sixers are concerned, unless they're putting in Ben Simmons, which I'm told they are not inclined to do right now, I don't see a deal structure that makes sense for Philly outside of a guy like Ben Simmons. So
moving on from Ben Simmons, I mean, his potential is through the roof.
I'm a huge fan of Ben Simmons. I think he's a jump shot away from being LeBron James Part 2.
Oh, brother, is this guy serious right now?
If Ben Simmons was going to be in a deal to Houston, it would perhaps have to be even bigger than just James Harden. I'm not sure that's how Houston looks at this. I think they'd like Ben Simmons plus a bunch more assets.
The way Woj is framing it, it's as though the Sixers are not even thinking too much about the Ben Simmons deal with James Harden. Shams is saying apparently the Sixers are making Ben Simmons available in some packages with James Harden in this trade. What is really going on here?
This dude is a jump shot away from being LeBron James 2.0. That's how gifted I think he is.
Oh, brother, here he goes again.
But not only is he not perceived as being a shooter, he doesn't even attempt to shoot. And Doc Rivers was quoted as saying, that's not that important. First of all, was that quote accurate to just say that? And if so, why on earth would you say that?
Because I really believe that. Like, it's important in the long run. Let's be honest. But I want Ben Simmons to play free. I don't want him to play thinking about shooting a jump shot. I want him to play downhill, get in the paint, make plays, get to the free throw line, something that no one's ever told him.
Is he serious right now? What is Doc Rivers saying?
And even though I think you're absolutely right about what may transpire in the regular season, come postseason time, if you're no threat from the perimeter, that's 4-on-5 basketball on the offensive side of the floor. Am I not right about that?
Well, not when he has the ball. People forget I have Rondo. And we won a world championship with Rondo at the point guard. And early on, Rondo could shoot the ball, but Rondo didn't want to shoot the ball. And he still doesn't a lot. But Rondo is pretty effective in the playoffs. And I think Ben can be the same way.
Doc Rivers has called Ben Simmons a 6'10 Rondo. Oh, boy. Now, look, the Nets acquired James Harden. So, yeah, the Rockets, they did not bother trading with the Sixers. Interesting.
Simmons one-on-one with O'Neal. Drives inside, lowers his shoulder. The hook shot for two.
Ben Simmons, no Joel Embiid on the floor. Yeah, he goes crazy.
And Simmons continues to add to his career high now, 42.
42 points. Career high 42 points against a Rudy Gobert defense. 42, 12, and 9 as well. One rebound away from a triple-double.
They're not Shaq and Kobe, but they're Shaq and Kobe-like. They're going to be a serious problem for anybody they play against.
Shaq, would you allow that statement to be said?
I didn't say that.
I'm just asking you a question, Shaq.
Calling Embiid and Simmons like Shaq and Kobe-like is disgusting. That is egregious. Now, one thing Ben Simmons has on Kobe is the defense. Obviously, Kobe was a great defender himself, but Ben Simmons better.
Philly held Luka Doncic to 19 points, with Ben Simmons serving as the primary defender.
And with this perimeter defense on Luka Doncic, Ben Simmons bolsters his case for DPOY.
IQ, I feel like it's very high. I try to make the right plays every time down the court. It's a mismatch nearly every time when I step on the floor. So I'm trying to make my teammates better. I'm trying to be the best point guard I can be. And lead this team the right way. And then defensively, I feel like that's just effort. I do feel like I'm the best defensive player in the league. I can guard 1 through 5.
And the numbers, they do not lie.
Luka shot 33% when guarded by Simmons, compared to 57% from the field when guarded by anyone else, really.
Dwight Howard, now teammates with Ben Simmons. He won a championship the previous year with LeBron and the Lakers. Yeah, he had some interesting things to say.
He's an amazing player. I love watching him play defense. His energy, his effort has been top of the line. I just want him to continue to do that and stay humble and hungry, because the sky's the limit for Ben. And like I said at the beginning of the season, LeBron James, he has everything.
And a former Wizards announcer, Justin Kutcher, he said some things about Ben Simmons that got people riled up. Yeah, he was getting in trouble for this comment.
I think Ben Simmons is one of, if not the most overrated players in the NBA. And he's gotten so much love and attention that people aren't paying attention to what Tobias Harris.
And yeah, he tweeted doubling down on his stance, saying, yeah, Ben Simmons, I didn't say he was bad, but just not as good as everyone makes him out to be. That's interesting. Ben Simmons responded to these comments.
How do you think about that kind of stuff when you hear it?
It depends. Like, usually I see a lot of shit on the internet. So when I saw that one, I had plenty of time because I was on quarantine still. So I scrolled through his Instagram, saw who he was. It is what it is. He's like a 5'5" commentator for the Wizards, man. I can't give it too much attention. I was just playing a little game with him, but it is what it is.
Well, now Dickie V, he is being vindicated with Ben Simmons, apparently.
You said, Dickie, no comparison. I want Simmons over Mr. Ingram. I'm not all convinced. I have problems with guys that can't make shots.
Apparently, now I couldn't find the clip, unfortunately, but apparently he said to Stephen A that, yeah, Ben Simmons should not be the #1 pick because of his jumper.
You talk about Ben Simmons over Brandon Ingram?
Yeah. I'm taking Simmons over Ingram all day.
I'm taking Simmons.
All day.
And the argument quickly devolved into Stephen A. Smith repeating himself once again.
Ben Simmons is a jump shot away from being LeBron James.
Yeah.
2.0.
Well, when's he getting a jump shot? When is he going to get the jump shot?
I understand that.
Now let's get to this interview Ben Simmons had with Rachel Nichols. He said some interesting stuff.
He has been in particular a really big supporter of you and your game, and really leaning into what you can do instead of highlighting in any way what they want you to get, quote, better at. What has that meant to you?
It means a lot. I believe in my ability to make this team better and help win a championship, and I think we have the pieces to do it.
And Doc Rivers went as far as to say Ben Simmons should be DPOY.
He made a serious case for you as Defensive Player of the Year. Do you agree with him?
Definitely, 100%. I'm one of those guys who can guard 1 through 5. Obviously, there's a lot of respect for Rudy. I know what he's capable of. I know, he's great down there in the paint, but he's not guarding everybody. And that's just what it is. He guarded me in Utah.
And?
I had 42. And apparently I'm not a scorer, so it is what it is. But
Petty Simmons had it again. Now look, the Sixers were the first seed in the East. Okay, there's a lot of expectations now. And Ben Simmons' free throws is already being a talking point for this series, the first round.
Will is in trouble and gone, and fans want Ben to save the day because they look at him as the other cornerstone. Is that fair for them to see it that way?
No, but you guys keep this Ben Simmons narrative alive, which to me is freaking insane, how good this guy is and all the things he does. Ben is not a 40-point guy. It's not what he does. He does other things for your team.
Doc Rivers was not bothered about the hack of Simmons, and really, he could care less about what people think about, Ben Simmons as a basketball player.
And I just don't understand why that's not sinking in our city. I didn't think he was scared of the moment. He just didn't make them. So, again, with Ben, we're going to keep him on the floor. Unless you guys want us to bench him the whole game. If anybody wants us to do that, just let me know. And then I'll know you don't know basketball.
In the first 4 games of this postseason, Ben Simmons made history being the worst free throw shooter out of any player in the first 4 games of a postseason. Obviously, this is minimum 20 free throws attempted in those 4 games, and Ben Simmons, it's not looking good for the guy. And yeah, it would get better, a little bit better, slightly, right? Ben Simmons shooting 32.5% now, but still, a lot of people had questions about his shot because, Atlanta now, they're playing Atlanta in the second round, and they're up 23 right now, and Ben Simmons gets hacked. He just gets hacked now.
Well, it was on this floor in game 1, remember, Simmons misses the first. This crowd trying to help out Ben Simmons. And he misses again. He's missed. Simmons now 1 for 6. He does have 3 points. He's got 5 assists in the game.
And Ben Simmons is barely even impacting the game as is. What?
To
It was charged to Philly, so they went from 6 to 5 timeouts.
Okay, thank you for that. Simmons.
So laughable. Now even the fans are trying to give Ben Simmons advice.
Why? That's right. See? Coming up short.
In the fourth quarter, that lead that they had would shrink and shrink. Lou Williams with a nice three-pointer here.
Behind the back, Collins for 3. Oh, off the window.
And now Trae Young wheeling and dealing, but he's, making floaters, being the clutch player that he is, being the key engine to this offense right now. Oh boy.
Thibault on him, gives it right back. Late clock here, down to 4. Gallinari, big shot for the Hawks. This is going to be an Atlanta victory in Game 5. What a comeback.
And talk about being a no-show. Ben Simmons not dunking.
Simmons, they cleared out for him. Tapping his way in. Spins on Gallinari, gives it up. Oh, he was right there.
But that's when you know that the game is in your head. That's a dunk for Ben Simmons right there. You got
in the Game 7, you're down 2, and all he needs is to tie the game with a dunk. It doesn't matter if you get fouled. You got 2 free throws. He's so scared of the moment. He's so scared of shooting free throws. They end up losing this Game 7. Joel Embiid in this presser would end up saying that Ben Simmons passing up on that open dunk was the turning point of the game.
Hey Joel, what was the moment for you personally tonight where your belief in what you had in terms of this being the Sixers' year turned to the recognition that it just wasn't going to happen?
I thought the turning point was just, we had an open shot, and we made one free throw, and we missed the other, and then they came down and scored, and we didn't get a good possession on the other end, and Trae came back and he made a 3, and then from there down 4.
Ben Simmons, man, this is just a terrible game from him, I'm telling you.
Ben only took 4 shots, and he passed up a dunk late. Is there anything that you have to talk to him about, or is that just nerves, or what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously he struggled from the free throw line, and that became a factor in the series. There's no doubt about that. I still believe in him, but we have work to do.
He says he believes in him, but then he says something like this.
I think Ben Simmons can still be a point guard for a championship team like the one you guys want to become.
Yeah, David, I don't know that question or the answer to that right now. So I don't know the answer to that.
And the problem you can see here, Ben Simmons not even taking shots in the fourth quarter. Oof, man.
So you're saying none of those field goals was a 3, huh?
There's no way. It's no way. Shots fired by Smitty.
He didn't just take 3 shots in all 4 quarters combined. No. He didn't even take a shot in the last 4 games of the series.
What do you think the work is that needs to be done and I guess prioritized? Is it free throw shooting? Is it being more aggressive? Is it perimeter shooting? What is it in your game that you think you need to improve first?
I think all of it. You hit on all of it. I ain't shoot well from the line this series. Offensively, I wasn't there. I ain't doing enough for my teammates. But there's a lot. There's a lot of things I need to work on.
And Shaq was not at all happy with Ben Simmons' response to these questions.
No, but yeah, what's wrong with that, Shaq? What is incorrect about what he said?
If I play game 1 and 2 and I know I'm not helping my team out, what you think I'm going to do in game 3? Don't take you 7 games to realize that. I don't want to hear that, man.
Hawks knocking off the Philadelphia 76ers.
He was in my locker room. I would have knocked his ass out.
In 96.
Okay. You do what?
Ben Simmons, man, passing up that open dunk really is the turning point of his career.
You gave up a dunk opportunity right there. And I know you're a pass-first guy, but you're also 6'10" and 240. Is there something going on in your head where you just feel like you can't shoot at some times?
Nah, I just assumed Gallo was coming over my back. And then Collins moved out. And so I thought we just had a wide open dunk.
And the fans, they were pissed. They were so mad that Ben Simmons was such a scrub in this game.
Trade Ben Simmons! Trade Ben Simmons! Trade Ben Simmons!
Ben Simmons, you crumb bum piece of shit.
Doc Rivers, he's a bum. Ben Simmons is a bum.
Ben Simmons for a bag of shit right now.
You got 5 points in the game 7.
You fucking weak, bro.
$130 million. You got 5 points in the game 7.
You weak.
Check out the full video, man. These guys are hilarious, man. Link in the description. Now, Magic Johnson. He said it best here.
But he needs to be somewhere else, you're saying?
Yeah, he's got to be somewhere else.
So it's over.
Because
the locker room is over with.
Yeah,
People aren't going to trust him.
Locker room,
and the fans.
But
It's
Magic,
over.
can I ask you this?
It's over. You can't recover from this.
Stephen A. Finally turning on Ben Simmons. It's over, man.
Oh, I know the answer to that question. I know the answer to whether or not Ben Simmons is a championship point guard, and I think Doc Rivers knows it too. The answer is very simple. Hell no! Not in Philly, at least.
Oh, and Colin Cowherd, too.
I acknowledge I whiffed on Ben Simmons. I thought he was the guy I would choose. He has deteriorated badly.
This is beautiful. What an amazing day.
Right now, Ben Simmons may be closer to Rudy Gobert than LeBron James.
That's brutal. Now, you're the same guy that also put him top 5 in his rookie year.
Ben Simmons, much love to you, my brother. I know a lot of people at your neck right now, but I think this is a time that you can really change the narrative.
This is a very nice gesture from Mahmoud here. He wants Ben Simmons to be better than this, man.
And possibly prove yourself and other people wrong. A lot of people are trying to get at you and help you with your shot, which I believe if you had one, could turn you from an all-star into a supermax type of guy. I'm not saying I'm the only one that can do that. That would be insane, but I do believe I can be of service to you. If you and your people are interested, give me a call.
And at 49 years old, man, this guy's no joke. Mahmoud just putting up threes over guys, man.
Comes disadvantage for Mahmoud. He's going to pull it. Mahmoud!
But like Mahmoud said, Ben Simmons, he's now being smeared. He's now being, slandered.
Just received a text from somebody very, very close to the situation in Philadelphia about Ben Simmons. This is a quote. This is not me. This is them. Quote, he doesn't work. He doesn't listen. And everyone around him is family. And he's constantly babied.
Oh boy, that is not good. Now, Ben Simmons, a lot of people were wondering which team he's going to be traded to, because at this point, I'm pretty sure he's not going to be a Sixer, right?
Keep your ears tuned. Stay tuned. Ben Simmons, it's possible Ben Simmons could end up in Golden State with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green.
And I'm telling you, if you're the Houston Rockets, great job not trading for Ben Simmons.
By the way, if you don't think there were some Rockets front office chest puffed out a little bit after the way Simmons' season ended, we told you he wasn't a franchise centerpiece. That I'm just telling you.
I know. Okay, that's fine.
Listen, you roll your eyes. I'm just telling you.
And at this point, this is where a guy like Giannis, it differs from a guy like Ben Simmons. When he faces adversity, he keeps playing through it.
I'm seeing it all. I'm airball shots, game 7. I'm airball back-to-back, free throws, Oklahoma. I'm beating out here. The only way up now.
And Danny Green, he points to this, right? This mental weakness that Ben Simmons has, this barrier.
I saw a kid that had been going through a lot the whole year, mentally, emotionally. He doesn't necessarily discuss them with us in private, but I knew he was going through a lot. He had some things going on during the season. It might have, come all at once during this time, but you could tell Ben's the type of kid, if he's not encouraged, if he's not pushed or forced to do it, he's not the type to take that risk.
Ben Simmons, he was honored at the ESPYs, though.
Ben Simmons has been building orphanages like this one completely out of his playoff bricks.
This one makes me cry. Ben Simmons, so giving. He's so willing to help the children.
What do you like to say, little ladies?
That's funny. Now, Charles Barkley, he had some word of advice for the Sixers and Ben Simmons.
If I'm a Sixers, I take Ben Simmons in the gym every day, make him shoot 1,000 jump shots. I make him shoot 1,000 free throws because he's afraid to shoot. And the Sixers let him get away with it, and it just caught up with him.
And it's actually looking like they're working on it. Ben Simmons shooting?
It looks like that the Ben Simmons Philadelphia 76ers experiment is going to end ugly.
Sadly, though, it wouldn't take that much time for Ben Simmons to actually request a trade. So now, Ben Simmons is now requesting out of Philadelphia.
Well, I'm disappointed in Ben Simmons. When you give somebody $200 million to dribble a stupid basketball, and the only thing you ask them is be better as a player, and their first response is, I don't want to play here anymore. That disappoints me as a player. It disappoints me as a fan.
And Shaq, he's going to lay it out there, man. Just call it as it is. Ben Simmons, bro. Just listen to this, man.
I have G14 classification to say what I'm about to say.
Okay.
And so does Charles Barkley. Ben Simmons, you're not that good. And then in this league, do you want to be good or do you want to be great? You're not great. Don't be putting pictures on your Instagram or your Ferrari or what actress you're hanging around with. When you play for a town like Philadelphia, Boston, LA, Miami, hard-working town, they don't give a shit about none of that. They want you to come, work hard, and play hard.
And Chuck, man, he's had enough of these clips surfacing of Ben Simmons shooting jumpers. I hate it too.
I live in Philadelphia during the summer. This is the third year in a row they put up them bullshit jump shots during the summer. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe anymore.
And now Ben Simmons not even willing to practice. He's not even participating much. And he's just there slouching and whatever. And he was actually kicked out of the practice facility by Doc Rivers. This is not a good look. Oh, no.
Are you concerned there's going to be a distraction, though?
Like,
is it already a distraction?
I just say, since, the past few days, felt like, nothing really happened. We were just focused on, the guys, that are playing, that are practicing, doing our thing, having fun with each other, playing, competing with each other, talking with each other, being part of it. He hasn't bothered us at all.
Embiid clearly trying to, put a PR spin to this, but, he would be honest and say that, he does not care much for Ben Simmons' antics.
The days he was here, was he a loner?
I just said I don't care. Man, that's his problem. I'm only focused on what we've been doing, and then as a team, we're gonna be fine.
Now Ben Simmons, it's not like he was just slouching out there unnecessarily. Apparently, according to Woj, he told Sixers staffers that he was dealing with back tightness, and he also told the Sixers that he's not mentally ready to play yet during the season, right? And that's something that I think is very important to talk about here. Embiid, although he came close to doing so, and you may argue he did after the Game 7, but he's not throwing him under the bus here, man.
A lot has happened the last few months, and I urge you guys to continue to support us and our teammate Ben, because he's still our brother. Let's go.
Once again, Joel Embiid.
But the Sixers fandom, yeah, they were not happy about Ben Simmons. They're returning on Ben Simmons. They were just spilling all their stupid drinks. They were just burning their jerseys. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Breathing off the dribble. This has been the most effective way to guard Joel Embiid in his career, but he had started the year, first 3 games, 15.
Knicks fans chanting, "Where's Ben Simmons?" Oh, that's cheeky right there. I like it. I like it out of you, New York. Now, look. I look forward with some updates regarding Ben Simmons' whereabouts.
Members of the front office as well as the organization confirm with me he is receiving professional help for his mental health through the Players Union. He's also undergoing regular treatment on his back, which he expressed concern about last week.
Okay, so it sounds like the Sixers organization is cooperating with Ben Simmons right now. Oh, nice.
A member of the front office also told me they will continue to pay him as long as he is working on mentally and physically getting better. And they said, quote, "It's not about the money for us. It's about winning a title. We want to win, and he's a really good player."
And apparently, yeah, things have changed. Apparently, the Sixers are not happy with Ben Simmons at the moment.
Malika, there has been frustration mounting, according to people close to the situation, that Ben has not been accepting any of the help that the team has offered him in terms of helping him with his mental readiness. And he has been working with mental health professionals through the Players Association, but thus far, I'm told he hasn't really kept the team in the loop on that. And there is frustration mounting there that they want to know, okay, you're out due to mental, you need to get mentally ready to play. But so far, he's just done individual work with some of their position coaches. He hasn't been back in with the team, and he's not providing the team with any updates on what he's doing.
I'm not blaming Ben Simmons here, right? He's clearly not in good standing with the Sixers right now.
So it doesn't really seem like there's a firm timeline yet.
There's no timeline.
No timeline on when he could be coming back.
But he's still a 76er, and he's going to be punished accordingly.
The Philadelphia 76ers are fining Ben Simmons for failing to travel on their 6-game road trip, sources tell me.
Yeah, this is not looking good. It's looking more like a brutal divorce is about to happen between the Sixers and Ben Simmons. I'm not sure where he's going to go at this point, but look, Skip Bayless, he has his take on, where he might go and who's going to be better.
AD is not relatively healthy because it's always something with him. So if you want a basketball player, I suggest Ben Simmons right now would be more valuable to you than Anthony Davis.
And on TNT, which is, broadcasted on national TV, but Shaquille O'Neal basically called out Ben Simmons out of his name when talking about Joel Embiid and contrasting Joel with Ben. Oh boy.
E/I. stay on big guys because I care about them. I want them to play a certain way. I want them to play at a certain level. Difference between him and his soft partner is he can take criticism without being a crybaby, and he still wants to play. Because me and Charles, we've been on him.
And Shaq, look, he's being honest. He's being honest about his current standing with Ben Simmons, how he's not liking what he's seeing from Ben Simmons recently, man.
And that's the difference. That's why I like and respect him. The other guy I don't respect. I've been thinking about it. You're missing the whole season because they asked your coach a question, can we win without you? And your coach gave a funny answer. That should tell you need to get in the summertime and work on your game. You don't think I haven't been criticized by you guys and Stephen A? You don't think I haven't been criticized by LA media, New York media? Great players get criticized, but the great players also step up to the criticism and perform. So this other guy, I don't respect him. I would get rid of him.
Now, there's a recent ESPN report that came out saying that, Ben Simmons, he's upset that Embiid seemed to blame him for the last season's playoff loss, when Simmons did not blame Embiid for Embiid's poor showing against the Raptors in 2019. Oh, no way. This situation is getting even more ridiculous, and now Shaq responds again.
Ben Simmons messing the money up. Because first of all, they already think we're spoiled. They already think we don't deserve it. They already think we're this. They already think we're that. You're making $40 million, and the only reason why you're not playing is because your coach called you out. You're making us look bad. What's going to happen in the next collective bargaining agreement, they're going to start to shorten their money. It's going to be all your fault.
And Shaq, he came out the next day talking about how, Ben Simmons DM'd him.
He sent me a text. I showed you guys a text, but I'm not going to talk about, out of respect for him, what was in the DM. But, he's going to do some things right now, so I'm going to back off. As an LSU brother, I'm going to back off.
Now, apparently, Ben Simmons might get traded to Brooklyn.
If Daryl Morey traded Ben Simmons to Brooklyn, which is not going to happen, my sources tell me that's not going to happen.
And of course it does.
Sorry to interrupt you, Perk, but we have a trade coming in right now from our Adrian Wojnarowski. The Brooklyn Nets are trading James Harden to Philadelphia for the 76ers. Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round picks. That's according to our Woj.
Joel Embiid, he tweeted this shortly after the trade happened. I wonder what that means.
For me, that was never, the mental health has nothing to do with just the trade. It was a bunch of things that I was dealing with as a person in my personal life that I don't really want to go into depth with. But yeah, I'm here now. So, it's a blessing to be, in an organization like this. And, I'm just looking forward to getting back on the floor and building something great here.
Oh boy, Ben Simmons. He was not being asked whether or not he spoke with Joel Embiid.
Did you speak with Joel?
No, I did not.
At this point, many people are wondering, when is Ben Simmons returning, right? That's the question that a lot of people have in their minds right now.
I apologize if I'm getting ahead of ourselves too much, but you guys do have a game in Philly in a couple of weeks. Do you think you can be ready for that? Physically, mentally, I imagine it's I
hope so.
Now, Ben Simmons, he would go to Philly during the game, but he would not be able to play, unfortunately.
Been an issue for him since he's tried to start ramping up. He's essentially really just done individual work at their facility. They're hoping by the end of this week, he'll be able to do more.
But no chance he plays Thursday night.
There is no chance he is playing in Philly Thursday night.
Because when he got to Philly, he tried sneaking out of the back of the hotel because obviously the fans, raucous as they are.
What's up, man? Boo! Turkey ass nigga! Boo!
Ben, why the grievance? Why spit in the face of Sixers fans? Why the grievance? Why the grievance, Ben? Come on, Ben, 5 years. Why the grievance?
And of course, Ben Simmons, on his way to the bus, he was getting hounded by the Sixers fandom. And of course, Ben Simmons coming into the arena, he was booed so heavily, man. I mean, just listen to how bad it was. That was cheeky right there. Dunking. Obviously, that's what the Sixers wanted to see in Game 7. Yeah, there's not much to cheer for or boo. Yeah, the Sixers were getting blown out by the Brooklyn Nets.
And
Ben Simmons picked up the loose ball at the other end, and that's the only time he's touched it, and the chorus of boos began.
Again, it doesn't matter because the Brooklyn Nets are clearly the better team right now.
I mean, he already knew we had his back, but it just felt good to quiet all of them down midway through the game. And, you know, it was very quiet towards the end. We ain't hear no more Ben Simmons chants from the Sixers fans. There was more Nets fans in here than anything.
Ben Simmons is now, you know, you could tell he's ramping it up. He's just trying to get more acclimated to the Nets and the whole system over there.
Nets guard Ben Simmons has filed a grievance trying to get back the nearly $20 million of salary that the Philadelphia 76ers held from his paycheck.
Now, you wouldn't notice from this video, but a lot actually happened since that Game 7 in 2021. And, you know, I actually did make an hour-long video detailing the whole saga, and you could check it out. I'll actually recommend that at the end of the video.
What should we expect as we head into the playoffs here from him?
Hey, Greeny, I know we've been here before with Ben Simmons this season, but if he continues pain-free the way he has and progresses, listen, there's optimism around the Nets that they can get him back in the first round of their Eastern Conference playoff series if they advance out of the play-in, even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes again.
And Stephen A is questioning how Ben Simmons even got this back injury in the first place.
Ben Simmons would be the lone exception. I want to know what the hell you were doing that you hurt your back.
You ain't played since last June. What were you doing? What the hell happened, Kendrick Perkins, Jay Williams? Was he riding up the turnpike on I-95 with a car that was a bit rough around the edges, hit a pothole, and tweaked his damn back? What the hell happened? I want to know what happened. You haven't played a minute, a second since last June. That is 10 months. You ain't touched a damn basketball in an official capacity. Did you slip in the tub? Did you slip in the tub? Was you getting your groove on and tweak your hip? I mean, did you hit a pothole on the turnpike? What the hell is going on? I can't believe I'm the only one saying this.
You're not the only one.
What was he doing, Jay Williams?
That's the question.
Jay Williams, what the hell was he doing?
I can't defend it.
Was he getting his groove on, tweak the hips the wrong way?
Now look, Ben Simmons, he would look nice and stylish in the playing game against the Cavaliers. Look at him. I mean, he's just stunning, isn't he? Like, just a beautiful. Okay, let's just get to the playoffs, please.
Yeah, I can't even believe it, to be honest with you, Ryan. But I am told that they are targeting games 4, 5, or 6 of this upcoming series against the Celtics.
Whoa, Ben Simmons actually will play in the playoffs? This is actually big news. We will see Ben Simmons for the first time since that Game 7 play in the playoffs, possibly Game 4, 5, or 6, depending on how long the series gets to. Oh, man.
It's up to Ben. Ben's back. You know, it's not up to me or any of us other than his back, and how we can help that resolve, great. But, you know, there's a chance Ben comes back. There's a chance he doesn't come back.
And I really want to see Ben come back, man. It's the playoffs. They're playing the Celtics. It's going to be a fun series. Woj giving us updates on when he will possibly come back.
Woj, what can you tell us about when Ben Simmons may make his debut?
Malika, there's a plan in place now in Brooklyn. Ben Simmons plans to make his return on Monday in Game 4 against the Celtics, and certainly that's barring any kind of a setback. But
unfortunately, though, Ben Simmons lets us all down.
Greeny, the Nets have ruled out Ben Simmons for Game 4 on Monday. Told the Nets that he was experiencing back soreness again after yesterday's workout. And so the Nets are taking him at his word, certainly, but there's a lot of disappointment.
And of course, Jalen Rose, he feels bad for him, right? And I can't blame anyone that does. Right. This is a situation where you just want to see the guy be able to play.
Mentally, Greeny, I almost feel bad for the guy. Like, I'm being serious. Like, I feel bad for him because not playing in Philly and then not being able to play at all with the Nets, man, there's some real issues happening.
Now, I won't blame you as well if you're like Stephen A. Smith and you actually just look at this and say, yeah, Ben Simmons is the problem.
Jalen's different than me. I feel bad for anybody who was his teammate. He quit on LSU. He quit on the Philadelphia 76ers, and now he ain't showing up for the Brooklyn Nets. We can point to all the excuses, all the rationale behind it that we want to. I do recall, despite him not playing, he still filed a grievance to collect $20 million that he has not earned. This is one of the most pathetic situations that I've ever seen in my life. He ain't going to war. He ain't going in the octagon. He's not going in a boxing ring. It's pulling teeth to get this man to play basketball. It's pathetic. It's sad, and at the end of the day, when the NBA gets in the collective bargaining table and they go after the players in terms of a pay-for-play stipulation in the collective bargaining agreement, it's going to be called the Ben Simmons rule.
And we've seen his time at LSU. Yeah, it certainly looked like he quit. Stephen A. Smith harping on this again.
I will remind you, Ben Simmons quit on LSU.
He didn't really quit on LSU.
Listen.
He wanted to get his bag and wanted to get his money.
No. I'm talking about when he missed games during the season.
Okay.
I'm talking about that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about leaving early. He wants to get his bag. I'm talking about leaving early. I'm talking about the injuries, the games he didn't play at LSU. He quit on LSU. That's widely recognized in college basketball. You know this. Most people believe he quit on Philly. And if you Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets, how the hell are you supposed to feel about him now? Everywhere he goes, he's not reliable.
And I think even Jay Williams is starting to have enough of Ben Simmons at this point.
I believe that there is some type of injury, but this is where you want somebody to have the mental fortitude to say, you know what, I'm going to give you 10 minutes. I think the kind of applaud that he would get from everybody in the basketball community, if you saw him try to fight through it for what it meant for his team, would shift the conversation around Ben Simmons, but he chose not to.
And this is why I like Shaq, man. He just calls it as it is.
In the hood, we call this a punk move. Chuck said it. If you could have played on Saturday, you could have played on Monday. Now that they lost, my back hurt. Well, if your back hurt, get some icy hot, I'll send it to you.
And Charles Barkley, he made a good point as well, talking about, the lack of distrust his teammates must have after seeing all this stuff.
Ben is getting to the point now where your teammates are like, yo, man, does this dude want to play basketball?
And I don't know why Kendrick Perkins decided to use this analogy to talk about Ben Simmons.
Yesterday on NBA Today, I said that Ben Simmons is that pretty girl that's single, and everybody's wondering why she's single, because she smokes cigarettes. That's who Ben Simmons is, the single girl that smokes cigarettes. Newport shorts at that.
Yeesh, that is disgusting. Now, Ben Simmons, apparently, he actually had to undergo back surgery, which vindicates the fact that he actually was injured and he couldn't play.
Because here's my question. How did he pass a physical? Did they know when they traded for him that he's going to need back surgery that's going to take him out for 4 months? He wasn't going to play? How did he pass a physical? Number one. Number two, this going down for both of those teams is an actual bad trade.
Now, I wouldn't go as far as to say that, especially not today.
A lot of people owe Ben Simmons apologies today, because athletes, like I told you, are not lining up to get shots in their back, which he did during the playoffs.
That's a fair point. Look, Ben Simmons, there's a reason why he couldn't play, but at the same time, it's more than that. It had to be also mental.
Does Simmons surgery news change your perception of him?
Not one bit. Not one bit. Because I never said that I don't believe he's injured at all. What I was trying to say is that I don't believe that whatever ailment he's suffering from is truly what prevented him from contributing 10 to 15 minutes a game.
Like, how is it that the plan was for Ben Simmons to return in Game 4, and then the last minute he comes in and says he has back soreness, right? That's questionable. Now, at the same time, Shaq, he's backing off, and he's even willing to apologize to Ben Simmons.
If I said something that was hurtful, maybe he should call me and say, hey, you said this, and then I'm intelligent enough to stop time and say, okay, when did I say it? You know what? That wasn't right. My bad, big homie.
JJ Redick also had an interview with Trae Young where he talked about, the incident.
When Ben Simmons decided to pass, how shocked were you?
I didn't realize in the moment what it was. But, I mean, I looked on my phone after the game. Everybody's killing him.
Of course, he should have dunked that, right? And Trae Young was right there. And it's like, he's way smaller. And Trae Young, he's sticking up for Ben Simmons. He's saying, look, the hate on him is too much.
It's a bang-bang play, and it sucks for him. I understand. Like, that's a tough play because he's a good player. Like, I hate how people talk how bad of a player he is. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying about recency bias. I think he's a really good player, but I think one moment can get people turning.
And I think Stephen A., he said something very poignant. This was interesting. This is during the interview with JJ Redick where he talked about AI.
Philadelphia is a town, however, with a complex. It never feels like it's respected and appreciated to the degree that it deserves. Allen Iverson eradicated all of that. Allen Iverson represented Philadelphia, personified everything that Philadelphia saw itself as. Undersized, underdog,
in a land of giants, but still conquering.
Allen Iverson, when you look at his story, when you look at how he came in the league, obviously he's an undersized point guard, and what he was able to do with the Sixers, Stephen A. points to the spirit that AI carried himself with.
The brighter the lights, the bigger the challenge, the more he welcomed it. That's Philadelphia. And that's why somebody, dare I say, like Ben Simmons, not literally, but figuratively speaking, he can never go back. They will never forgive him, ever, because they view him as a coward. I don't view him as that. That's a bit extreme. I don't know all the intricacies of what's going on with him. I just feel like, hey, you still asking for your money, so I got a problem with that. But Philadelphia believes he's a coward. Philadelphia believes he's the antithesis of everything Allen Iverson personified.
Obviously, you could feel bad for Ben Simmons for being slandered so hard, but look, he's got to want to be better.
I'm critical of Ben Simmons, but in all honesty, like, do we think we could see a better version of Ben Simmons? Hell yeah.
I hope so.
Man,
I mean,
I
can't unsee what I saw against the Atlanta Hawks. I can't unsee that. I just cannot unsee it. A starting point guard that refuses to take a field goal attempt in 5 fourth quarters in a 7-game series. Hands off for me.
Kevin Durant, he requested a trade, but there was a problem that the Nets had to face that involved Ben Simmons.
Cannot be two players that were traded for. So if you're looking at Ben Simmons, you cannot add a player like Devin Booker or Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young. Bam Adebayo is the big name in Miami. The Heat have been linked to the Nets. So you cannot add one of these other players as long as Ben Simmons is on this roster.
So now if you're a Brooklyn Nets fan, you're mad because now it's like, okay, Ben Simmons got that big contract in 2019, and now it's complicating things in 2022 to where KD might not even be getting traded.
Simmons and the 76ers have come to an agreement on Simmons recouping a portion of the nearly $20 million withheld from him as a result of his failure to play games last season.
At this point, at least, it seemed like the chapter with Ben Simmons and the Sixers has been closed. We're not going to now talk about the Sixers much. We've moved on from that.
Front. Philadelphia made a mistake in developing Ben Simmons as a point guard, and here's why. When you're not attempting shots outside of the paint, it's hard to have you at the top of the floor. So now that they have KD, he's going to play quality minutes at the 4. Watch Ben Simmons be like on the baseline playing like a small ball 5. And in that case, he's going to have an opportunity to be a productive player. He's not going to have to worry about shooting the ball. He's not going to have to worry about being a big-time scorer. He could be a defender, a playmaker, and a teammate. And I think he'll fit right in with Kyrie and KD.
Interesting. Now, Ben Simmons, he got interviewed by JJ Redick about the whole shebang.
I watched a lot of the stuff that, Barkley and Shaq and those guys were saying. And, he mentioned Stephen A. before and everything.
Yeah, this interview, they talked about a lot. They talked about the Game 7 when he passed up the dunk. And obviously, they talked about the feud with Shaq and Charles Barkley, what they said about Ben Simmons. And Shaq, he responded to all this.
And this message to the guy who brought my name up. Shut your face up, little man, because we still don't know who you are. JJ Redick's partner. Oh, Shaq and Charles.
I was going to say his partner. I don't know what his name is. I just said JJ's partner.
Now, I forgot to mention this, but Ben Simmons had a cell phone in his pocket during the practice where he got kicked out, apparently.
I had my jersey in my pocket, in my sweatpant pocket, so they thought it was a phone. I don't know how they thought it was a phone, but that's what that situation was, to clear that up.
But Ben Simmons, he says it's a jersey, not a phone. I'm pretty sure Shaq is not going to buy that one.
I think I have a little apology because we clowned him. I know I did about coming to practice with a cell phone in his pocket. He said it was not a cell phone. He said it was his jersey in his pocket, and he doesn't understand why people thought it was a cell phone, but it was not a cell phone. That's what the man said. So if it was not a cell phone, Ben, I apologize for that because I gave you hell for having a cell phone.
People mistake jerseys for cell phones all the time.
Clearly, yeah, it's a jersey, right? That's what they're saying, right? Shaq, he clowns him even more.
And how he is dealing with...
Okay. Oh, hold on. I got another call. Hello? What'd you say? Okay, cool. All right. Well, hold on. My new phone came in? Oh, okay. The mini came in? Hello? How you doing, buddy? You doing all right? I don't want to hear you. Stop it. The man had a phone in his pocket. And
how do you fold a jersey to make it look like a cell phone? Like, how do you do that?
There are pictures posted when he was at the practice showing the back pocket of his pants. And let's just see if the jersey, that was a jersey, right? Let's see if that was a jersey because I'm not sure if it was. And you look at it, it looks like a jersey. It looks like a jersey tag, if anything. But it could be a phone. It really does look like either one.
You spun on Gallinari. I think it was Gallinari.
Yeah.
You spun on Gallinari, so you spin baseline.
That's
So
who it was.
you're going in blind, and
he's coming behind me.
Yes, and then you've also got yourself in a little bit of an off balance predicament. You don't know it's Trey right when you spin.
No, you're spinning into a jersey.
Yeah,
essentially. So.
Yeah. So but look, when it slows down, it looks really bad, Ben.
Yeah, that fucking looks terrible. I was like, but when I look at it now, I'm like, man, I should have just fucking punched that shit.
At least he knows, man. At least he knows he made a mistake, man. He's owning up to it. That's a good first step.
But it didn't happen, and I was okay with that. I can live with that. I can live with, okay, everyone's trying to kill me over one play. Like, does everyone want to watch film with me? Like the whole arena, and I could dissect everything if you guys want. But that's not, it's not realistic.
Well, we said this at the time. I mean, it was like the whole team blew 25-point leads.
I'm also I'm guarding the fucking best player on the other team the whole game. Herder had 27 points.
Herder? He's talking about Kevin Herder right now. Is he throwing shots at the player guarding Herder? Because I know for a fact he was guarding Trey the whole game. What? Yo, how's Ben gonna come out here and say stuff like this, bro? I mean, I don't even think Ben Simmons understands how bad that was, man. That was not good. Now let's see what Shaq has to say. I'm not sure if he'll buy it. I'm not sure what he'll say, but let's just hear him out, man.
When he was against Trey Young. So he says he did not know it was Trey at the time. All he saw was a jersey. So he said, yes, he should have punched it in. He was wrong for that. He didn't realize it was Trey. He said he was doing a spin move and all he could see was jersey. He did not see who he was guarding. He went on to say, yes, go ahead, Shaquille.
Okay. Spice knows this. That's an excuse.
And what Ben Simmons should have done was own up to his mistakes and not say anything else, man. Just leave it at that.
I don't want to hear no excuses. You're 6'9", you're one of the strongest guys in the league. You can overpower little guys.
And what's funny is Ben Simmons, he knows how strong he is, right? He even talks about it, how Doc Rivers was making him do these things.
Getting kicked out of that practice that day, I actually spoke to Doc before practice. I was like, Doc, I'm not ready. Like, mentally, I'm not ready. Please just understand that. I tried to let him know prior. And he was like, well, I'm going to put you in anyway. I'm like, all right. Told me to get in. I was like, I looked at him like, it was like 1 minute into practice. Like, man, get in. I'm like, first of all, no one's doing that. You're doing this on purpose. And that's how I felt too. I was like, okay, so it seems like everyone's just trying to fuck with me now. Like I'm getting fined for not lifting weights, but physically I'm like one of the strongest guys on the fucking team.
One of the strongest guys on the team. He also one of the most mentally weak guys on the team. I mean, that's not a good combo. I'm just saying that's not a good combo.
Yeah, it's everyone, has their own battles. And I think that was tough for me, just knowing I didn't really have that support either from teammates or whatever it was at that time.
No, call it like it is. Let's call it like it is.
Yeah.
And you know that I love Joel, and you know that I love Doc, but they essentially threw you under the bus after Game 7. Like that's indisputable.
Yeah.
And Shaq, he just does not want to hear it at this point, man.
So what.com.
I understand what Shaq is trying to say. Like he went through stuff like this too, and he battled through it.
I have an answer to all of that because I've been there and done that. I've been to the mountaintop. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're doing. I know what you're going through. You think I was not nervous for shooting the free throws after missing free throws? And listen, when you're the 1 or 1-2 punch and you lose, it's your fault. That's the name of the game. You have to accept it. You can't run away from it. If you try to run away from it, don't play. Get the money back. I don't want to hear it.
Well said from Shaq. I mean, look, you got to understand where he's coming from. And Ben Simmons, I mean, he had some things to say about Shaq as well.
I watched a lot of the stuff that, Barkley and Shaq and those guys were saying.
So you got JJ Redick's buddy, his partner here, throwing the lob so that Simmons, can go and call him out.
I think it's kind of ignorant in terms like Shaq and Chuck sometimes what they're saying and because they have a platform to kind of protect us and, you do good. Obviously they're supposed to, criticize us, we're basketball players. But when it comes to personal stuff, I think there's a level of respect they should have.
Now, there was a lot more interesting stuff being said in this with Shaq's response and Ben Simmons. And I made a video about this September of last year. You could look for it on my channel. Now, as well, we got to go to the regular season. Ben Simmons actually ended up playing games in Brooklyn.
Durant, give and go. Simmons, it's an air ball.
And that clip speaks for itself. Yeah, he's horrible. Now, I don't know who this guy is, but he has had enough.
Now, when we watch it on TV, you know, oh, it's all good. I went to the fucking game last night, and I watched you shoot an air ball layup. Stop playing with my niggas. KD, Kyrie, I know y'all may not approve this much. This ain't on that. This is on me. Stop playing with my niggas. Real talk, Ben. If you don't want to play basketball, go do what the fuck you want to do.
This tweet made me laugh. Ben Simmons scored a season-high 11 points. What happened?
Is there any chance in your mind that maybe enough time has passed that it won't be so bad? It'll be in Philly? Come on now. I know it's coming.
And of course, Ben Simmons, yeah, he would play in Philly. Finally, he would play in Philly.
LSU, number 10, Ben Simmons. 6'2" for Duke, number 11.
And he was already fouled, and he was going to shoot free throws, and he would actually big both.
No, Durant and Irving can shoot the ball, and they put
the crowd going crazy right now. But for confidence to
Ben Simmons is shrugging at the fans after making both free throws. This is amazing.
And here Ben Simmons misses. The crowd started to cheer when he missed. Put it back in and told him to quiet down.
Protect your teammates, man.
11 points,
Ooh,
7
soft.
rebounds.
And this crowd's on their feet now.
I'm not even going to read his lip. I'm not even going to say what he said, but he did not say something good. Look, Ben Simmons missing free throws. And if he missed this second one, the Philly fans would get free chicken.
Nuggets for everyone. So that's why they're so fired up. And
oh my goodness. The Brooklyn Nets lost to the Sixers with no Embiid and Harden playing. No Maxey either. Yeah, this Nets team, man. What's happening to this team? Ben Simmons, though, not fazed by the crowd.
With that being said, were you expecting it to be worse? Or?
I thought it was going to be louder. Yeah. You thought it was going to be louder? Yeah, I did.
Now, Ben Simmons, he would be relegated to a role player, essentially, right? He would put up some numbers at times. Like, he would put up 20 points.
put back. Here's Simmons, bounces ahead to Irving. He got it.
But he's essentially reverted to a screener and passer. That's basically Ben Simmons' role on this Brooklyn Nets team.
It's going to be huge. Irving, Simmons, Claxton. Why not? Right? Yeah, why not take it? He's right there.
At this point, it's clear that it's all in his head. He is getting in his own way. He is being now benched because, what? Of course he is.
2023, the year of the rabbit.
Oh, I forgot. Ben Simmons was also a model, I guess, for the Chinese New Year jerseys or something. I don't know, man.
1支后卫，身高6尺10，身披10号战袍，本西蒙斯 ，Number 10， Ben Simmons.
Now, if Ben Simmons was to avoid the CBA, he will have to heed these words from Jack Vaughn.
And I'm still trying to figure that out. That's on me to figure it out. But I think overall, as a team, we're going to try different lineups to try to figure this thing out.
And here you have Brooklyn Nets head coach Jack Vaughn. He's talking about, Ben Simmons, and he's trying to explain to us some of the difficulties surrounding him.
You just take a look at what the lineups could potentially look like. You put another big next to Ben, then you got to figure out what the spacing is around him. Then if you put a playmaker next to him, then you got to figure out what Ben looks like without the basketball. Then if you go small with Ben, then you got to figure out, can you rebound enough with him? All right, so the challenges are ahead of us.
Ooh, he cooked. Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, the Brooklyn Nets, they've moved on from Kyrie Irving, who's now in the Mavericks uniform, and also moved on from Kevin Durant, who was traded to Phoenix. Yeah, it's interesting now because what does that mean for Ben Simmons?
And I'm going to talk about 3 players whose stock is falling following the trade deadline. The first person is Ben Simmons. It's clear this Nets team is going a different direction that likely doesn't include Ben Simmons. He only saw 16 minutes in a loss to the Philadelphia 76ers.
Now, you may think to yourself, isn't Ben Simmons a role player at this point? Shouldn't he be able to play with the new guys that got traded? Well, not so much.
He's not going to be starting for their foreseeable future, and the Nets just bolstered their wing depth dramatically at the deadline, so that's only going to bury Simmons further down this depth chart here.
Getting Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, Dorian Finney-Smith, yeah, there's no need for Ben Simmons when you got that much defensive depth. And obviously, Ben Simmons can't shoot, so he's a liability on offense. So the Nets made it official recently and shut him down for the season.
But the Nets really have moved on. When you look at what they got for Durant, what they got for Kyrie, all the picks they got, all of that stuff, they've kind of moved on to the next phase of the franchise with or without Ben Simmons.
And of course, Ben Simmons actually, this guy is just averaging career lows all across the board. 6 points with 6 more rebounds and 6 assists. And he's being paid over $100 million over the next 3 seasons. This is not a good situation to be in. Worst contract in the NBA.
But the big question here is, will Ben Simmons give up on himself? Like, it feels like we're witnessing him in this situation this season sort of give up on himself, because you think about confidence offensively. He was never really that huge offensive go-to player, even though he averaged double figures in seasons past.
Right.
But defensively is where he gets his bread and butter. And you look at, okay, if you're going to try to find defensive confidence, all right, like, what are the numbers? They're only 1 point better defensively when he's on the floor.
So not only is he a liability on offense, he's not even that impactful on defense. So what's the point of even playing him? The Nets, they knew he's just not a good player, man.
Lots of guys shoot terrible from the free throw line. It's just you can't have a fear to go there. And so I sit here, and when we talk about coddling players, and again, I root for Ben Simmons, but when we talk about coddling players, it's like the NBA is not made for everyone. Winning championships is not made for everyone.
The league will humble you eventually.
The league will.
Honestly, it's sad because, look, this guy had such a promising future when he came up out of Melbourne, Australia, and he came into LSU, and of course he had his bumps in the road, but you always thought he would improve on his jumper. The biggest flaw in his game, you always thought he would be better than this.
Looking at a guy like Ben Simmons, man. Ben Simmons, man, if you listening, man, I want you to go back and find your roots, man. Go back and find why you love playing the game, man. Straight up, you got a lot to give to the game, bro. Straight up. Like, to shut him down and him have back issues and be going through this whole fucking song and dance.
Now, I'm not going to talk too much about him as a child, right, because I don't know the guy, right? And I'm only speaking about the environment he was in up to high school, college, right? He was always coddled. He was always, allowed to be mediocre, never pushed to be better.
I hate to say that, man. I think he got another run in him, but it's going to have to be Ben Simmons, bro. It's going to have to be him. Not his mom, not none of this collective around him and all. It's going to have to be him. Straight up, bro. I want to see dude. I want to see dude get back to killing, man.
Ben Simmons is that gifted kid that everybody called smart. He got straight A's in high school, and as soon as he met the slightest adversity in college, well, he just froze. He got in his own way because he was too afraid to fail.
And then, too, we ain't even seen Ben Simmons with the J. We ain't seeing Ben Simmons pull up, two dribble pull up, left.
Are you guys just like me tired of hearing this nonsense? Oh, Ben Simmons, once he gets a jump shot, he's going to be like LeBron James. He's going to be Magic Johnson with the passing. Bro, he's just not that guy, right? We know this now. It's been years, but we're still holding out faith because it's Ben. I guess it's because it's Ben Simmons. I don't know. There's something special about the guy that they see. I don't see it. I don't see anything special. Now, if you want to see more Ben Simmons out of me, right, talking about Ben Simmons, the saga, feel free to click on either of these links on the end screen. Yeah, that's going to be a fun time. I went to even more detail on these videos. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed them. Have a great day. Bye-bye.